The Virginia Supreme Court has struck down their attempt to redistrict as unconstitutional. And liberals and Democrats are apoplectic. Jeffries is losing his mind. Hassan Piker says that the Republicans have just stripped black power from Memphis after Tennessee eliminated the single Democrat district in Memphis. And the funny thing is, it's represented by a white guy. And the Republican candidate who keeps losing and is trying to win is a black woman. But I guess to the left, black power is when a white Jewish guy is in control of your district and the black woman loses. So I don't think they really know what they're talking about. But let's be real. This is a redistricting war. Both sides are trying to win. Both sides want power. Democrats want power. Republicans want power. Republicans are winning this war handily. Currently up 8 seats in the procedural battle, not even related to polling. Despite the fact that Republicans are still polling better than Democrats, which seems kind of weird, especially for a midterm. The opposition party should be doing way better, and they're not. Now, what I think is really weird about this is the prediction markets have not priced this in and still are predicting a plurality of the prediction markets. They're saying of the prediction, Democrats sweep, which makes no sense at all. So we'll talk about that. Plus, they dropped proof that aliens. I'm just kidding. They didn't. They dropped a bunch of UFO files showing metamaterials, strange images of things in space. We don't actually know what any of it is. And this is exactly as people were predicting just the other day. The coming disclosure would be interesting, but not definitive. But perhaps the Apollo astronauts were attacked by aliens on the moon. They've released photographs showing strange things in the sky, which is evidence of very little. I don't know. We'll figure it all out. We'll get into that. Before we do, my friends, we got a great shout out for you from our own Timcast members. We got Inky Blooms. Go to patreon.com, search for Inky Blooms. Small American-owned creative studio. Everything created by hand through watercolor and ink illustrations. The core of the company is built around 2 monthly mail clubs. Monthly mail clubs include a postcard print of original artwork and extra items like stamps, bookmarks, and other items that can fit in an envelope. One of these clubs, Little Sprouts, is geared toward children 3 and up. Each month, your kid receives a postcard and a story about the animal on the postcard, teaching kids invaluable lessons without the woke garbage. You'll also get an activity to do with your kids like I Spy and coloring. That's amazing. I got to get some of this. Recognizing talent within our community that brings family together is important. Inky Blooms, a great way to slow down, put away the screens, and appreciate the art with your loved ones. My wife is going to absolutely love this. She keeps telling me to put my phone away, but I have to explain to her, this is my job. I complain on the internet for a living. When I'm insulting people on Twitter, it's what pays the bills. It brings bacon. Also, don't forget, go to castbrew.com. Get your Mother's Day bundle. It's a little late now, but you can still get it. Or you can get all of the other amazing stuff. We have, of course, Appalachian Nights. We've got our ground coffee, a variety of flavors. And you got Focus with Mr. Bocus, 2 weeks till Christmas. Check it out at castbrew.com. Support the work that we do. Join the Discord community. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Sam Nunberg.
It's great to be on.
Yeah, who are you? What do you do?
I'm a lawyer and a political consultant. Worked for then Donald J. Trump from 2010 to 2015. And excited to be here. It's going to be an interesting experience. I'm the oldest person in the room for once.
All right. Well, you know, considering we've got this hard proof that aliens are real, right. We had to bring in our ringer. Shane's hanging out.
It's good to be here.
They didn't actually prove anything. But.
You know I cover this stuff extensively, and I believe this is what the experts call faking gay.
That is indeed.
But I have a lot to say about it.
All right. The rest of the crew is hanging out.
Hi, everybody.
What's going on?
I'm actually the oldest person in the room, for the record. I don't know if you.
How old are you?
What? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Oh, 45 in June.
Oh, no, he got you.
Oh, 47, baby, holding it down.
Let's go.
But that's just genetic. That's just solar edge, you know?
He took that from you.
I know.
I was getting hot under the collar when you said it. I didn't know what to do.
Wouldn't even let me just keep it in my head.
Carter's here, too. I'm very excited.
What's up? I'm the youngest one in the room, I think.
How old are you?
No, I'm not. You are, Tate.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
25.
I'm not 24, so.
Unbelievable.
All right, let's get into it. We got this from CNBC. Virginia Supreme Court strikes down redistricting push in blow to Democrats. This is a nuclear bomb. And my friends, we have a present for you. It is this. It's going to be hard to hear, so everyone's got to be. Well, I have to ask the crew to be quiet for a second because we got to boost the volume on this. But let's get it.
Shame! Shame on every single Supreme Court justice who voted to take away our rights as a people to express
Okay. The appropriate response is, "Ma'am, this is a Wendy's."
You should start a
Cat
YouTube
lady.
channel, man.
I just want to stress that the Virginia Supreme Court upheld the rights of the people of the state 4-3. They ruled that the attempt to vote away 45% trying to vote away the rights of the other. 55% trying to vote away the rights of the other 45 is not upholding anybody's rights. And the Supreme Court of Virginia said, "Hey, there's a constitutional procedure for amending the Constitution. This is not it. So no." Struck it down. And I'm just gonna let's throw out the partisanship for a second and just say, Democrats are losing on this one in their own state. Republicans lost in Indiana. So there's points over here and points over there. All in all, with the latest map, I think I actually have the map here for you guys. This is massive. Currently, let's zoom in on this map our friend Claude made for us. And we're looking at Republicans have a net gain of 8 seats with 9 still in flux. Here's where it gets crazy. Maryland has a potential, but probably too late to enact because the state Senate will not bring it to a vote. New York might try to do a last-minute deal. Indiana probably couldn't get it done. So these are pending and unlikely. However, these southern states, I don't know why it's got Georgia listed. It should be it should not be Georgia. But Mississippi did shift. We'll get a correction on this. But Tennessee, North Carolina already have seen these gains. So if this resolves, we're looking at a potential plus 12 across the board for Republicans. And it's just it's a nuclear bomb for Democrats. They're claiming that their rights are being infringed. This lady's screaming, "Shame for taking away my rights." Bro, 50% of the state trying to vote away the other 45's rights? No. Now, as for Tennessee, they had 1 district anyway, and that's getting eliminated under the VRA. And I say good to that. If you go to Virginia, which had balanced maps, and say eliminate the balanced maps in favor of Democrat maps, wrong. If you go to a red state that's got racially gerrymandered districts and you get rid of that, good. Now, I'm biased, so I'm happy the Republicans are winning, but I think there's a moral distinction here.
Well, definitely. Let's talk about the rationale of the decision, Tim. In Virginia, and I didn't even know this until that vote, the reason that Virginia, it was only a 4-3 decision, but the reason that those 4 justices overturned this was because actual votes were cast by Virginians before the Virginia legislature decided to put the amendment up for the vote. In other words, they were disenfranchising their own voters to do it.
Also, is Louisiana, though. The dissent from Ketanji Brown Jackson in Louisiana is that there's already 50,000 votes cast. Mm-hmm. And so if they redo the election now, they're telling it's like 49,500 votes, you're gone. And the argument is, okay, well, the map's unconstitutional. Have a nice day. The issue, however, with Virginia is the new map is unconstitutional. In Louisiana, the map they tried implementing is unconstitutional. So sorry, those votes don't count. In Virginia, the new map is unconstitutional because they didn't go through the proper procedure for amending
Right,
it.
it's a process issue.
Yeah.
It's an actual process.
They literally just said you can't just amend the Constitution through a vote. It's got to go through a process.
Yeah. And the Tennessee pro clutching is hilarious because Tennessee, not to get like too partisan hacky here, but it's just true, is that Tennessee and Massachusetts have a nearly identical population. They have like 7.5 million each. And Massachusetts is 9 Democrats, 0 Republicans. And the spread between Democrats and Republicans in Massachusetts is far closer than Tennessee, as in far more people as a proportion of the population voted for the Republicans in Tennessee than Democrats in Massachusetts. So again, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're really going to pearl clutch over Tennessee, have a word with Massachusetts first. All we're doing here is settling scores. That's all that's happening. Sorry, Tim makes this point on the show. We're doing this procedurally. This is a procedural victory. This isn't like mind blowing. This isn't an we're not ramping up necessarily. We're not playing dirty per se. No, it's just, again, settling scores is primarily what's happening here.
Yeah, but you could play dirty with procedure too. The Nazis, Hitler did that.
I mean, we
made
could.
things illegal, like having guns illegal and stuff, and it was like it's all procedure.
Well, we could.
No other government ever has done anything like this. There's literally no other example in history that we could cite to condemn authoritarianism or tyranny. It's always got to be Nazi Germany.
Always Nazi Germany.
Every time.
When I saw Steve Cohen lose his seat, I was like, I feel like this is 1939 in Berlin. What's going on?
Right.
Well, I just don't want to hide behind procedure,
it's like the Bolshevik Revolution.
saying because it was done on paper, it's right. That doesn't necessarily mean it's right or ethical, but I just want to point that out. And you're saying score settling, that sounds like a bad thing.
Well, I would grant that if Massachusetts had like a fair map, or at least if they were giving us at least like 2 Republicans, then I'd be like, okay, I could see that argument. But in this instance, I'm like, no, I'm not settling scores. I'm leveling the playing field is what's going on here. Republicans are finally like, oh, wow, we've been getting swamped for years. We're eating our lunch. Let's actually try to catch up here.
We can't play by Marcus of Queensberry rules anymore. Exactly. That's just the reality of the situation. If the Democrats take power, Imagine if they did, God forbid, in 2028. You know what you're going to have? You're going to have Puerto Rico
Yeah.
as a state. You're going to have 2 senators from D.C. You're going to have around 50 million people added to the rolls, all voting Democrat. So this is really their last gasp. Now, thank God, and thanks to Stephen Miller and others, thank God that we have the census also coming in 2030, which we haven't talked about. So the long-term projection for this republic, we are a republic, not a democracy, for this republic is that Democrats can no longer game the system anymore to have more seats and more representation than they deserve. I mean, we've all seen the maps on the presidentials, right, everyone?
Yep.
You know?
I wonder how many of these districts had cemeteries in them, and all the Democrats, all the Democratic voters they lost.
Exactly.
You saw North Carolina recently had tens of thousands of dead people on the polls.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
That's
and they
every
tried to
state.
keep them on.
Of course,
I'm
they
surprised
vote
the
well.
Democrats haven't pushed to ban cremation because that really, it's bad for them.
They need the bodies.
Yeah, they need the bodies.
It would be funny if you get granular with these maps and you can see that all they did was carve out a single cemetery and then it turns into a red district.
You know, I know you have a lot of listeners and followers in Virginia. You know what's interesting to me is Spanberger, as we know, ran against this, right? She said, I'm not going to put this up. And then she did, obviously she's a liar, she did after she was elected. And I was wondering, was this like with Bush when he only supported McCain-Feingold because he told everyone, well, it'll get overturned by the Supreme Court? So is this part of her long game to at least get the VP ticket and say, look, I did this, but at the end of the day, she actually expected this to be overturned.
I mean, you know, we can go pie in the sky, super, super optimistic, white pill conspiratorial, and they're trying to ice out woke. I mean, we saw in some of these primary races, they're trying to get the progressives to lose. They want them out. And maybe this is all one big plan. Look, the Republicans are going to win because they want progressives to lose, then come back out and say it's your fault, the wackaloon progressives. Or, more importantly, the shift rightward in a lot of these states will force the Democrats to moderate as a party to try and capture more moderate districts.
Yeah, well, even in the new map, or now it's dead in Virginia, was they actually spread out like deep blue districts, and now you had a bunch of sort of maybe lean or like a lighter shade of blue districts. And so to Tim's point, I mean, they would have had to run guys that could tack a little bit more to the right when necessary if they end up in a knife fight, if the GOP threw up a good candidate. So yes, Virginia clawed back more Democrats, but they lost a lot of their bite to really push through hyper progressives and that sort of thing.
I'd love to see the Democratic Party go a little more moderate, because then I will join them again, and then I will force the Republican Party to be their best in order to come back. Because right now, I don't want them to feel like we got this. We don't have to be good people. We just have to be authoritarian and make it. Make the law in our favor. Like,
I want to point out something real quick. 270 to win changed the Virginia congressional map, even though this was pending adjudication. And it's the weirdest thing ever to shift that projection. I don't get it. Let me reset real quick. Currently, the as of right now, House projection 270 win is Republican winning. 209 Republican, 207 Democrat. They've updated Florida. That's signed. They've not updated Louisiana, which is going to happen, these other southern states. But Virginia, it looks like they changed Virginia back to what it should look like, except for the actual districts. So the map should be reverted, but it looks like they just arbitrarily turned blue districts red so it fits properly, despite the map being wrong. But I want to give a shout out and a condolences to our friend Pinchy the Lobster. Everybody was calling this district Pinchy, which is a Simpsons reference. Okay. No longer. It's gone. Not allowed. And so, I mean, this is crazy. The current projection is 209 Republican to 207 Democrat with 19 toss-ups. So we'll see exactly what happens. But already, let's do this. We're going to eliminate this. We're going to eliminate one here. Mm-hmm. We're going to eliminate one here. We're going to eliminate one here. Already, you eliminate those VRA districts, and it's 212 Republican, Democrat 204. What has shocked me the whole time, and I'm going to tell you this, I will take, let me pull this up from Kelshi. I am going to do a victory lap here. I had been saying all week that the prices were wrong on the balance of power on the Kelshi market. Democrat House and Senate is the plurality, 43% to win. Democrats can't win the Senate. I'm going to say it again. They can't win. Wow. So if you go to the Senate map, it is based on Republican states already 50 seats. Democrats would have to flip a Republican senator out of office and win all remaining toss-ups. That will not happen. They will not win the Senate. So why are people putting money on Democrat House and Democrat Senate. Even when Decision Desk says Democrats are the underdog in the Senate, it makes no sense. And you can see here for Republican sweep just spiked 6 percentage points. I said last week, based on the VRA, this is mispriced. These predictions are wrong. And that once the statements start coming in from the DOJ and from the governors, Republican sweep will spike. The only question right now is, will Democrats win the House? Senate's a done deal. Democrats might win the House, but as of right now, with this major shift we've just seen, I'm going to call them underdogs. Republicans just gained 8 seats. Right now, the current polling has Republicans at 12 to Democrat 204 if the southern states redistrict under the VRA, if Harmeet Dillon goes after him. Did you guys know that if Harmeet Dillon goes to New Jersey, she could flip a district Republican in New Jersey? Pennsylvania has 2 seats that can be flipped Republican as well, based on the VRA.
When you say if she goes there, what do you mean? What would she do?
If the DOJ uses the weight of law enforcement, they say the federal government is enforcing the Supreme Court's ruling on racially gerrymandered districts and then sue the state requiring them to redistrict. If that happens, you can get 2 more Republican districts in Pennsylvania and 1 in New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I've even seen some discussion, some chatter that this could even be applied in California. There's a lot of seats in California that are overwhelmingly majority Hispanic, overwhelmingly majority Asian, but they're carved in such a way where, okay, yes, the Democrat Party in their head just steel-manned them, to be honest here, is they're probably like, we just need to scoop up and sink a district, make it as Democrat as possible. But again, by law, if you evaluate that from a VRA perspective, you're saying, well, no, that's just a racial gerrymander.
Let me pull this story up from Post Bueno. Hakeem Jeffries is livid after Virginia court ruling blocking redistricting, says Dems will win midterms no matter what it takes.
Now he's really mad.
Well, our friend Hassan Piker has chimed in saying the Virginia Supreme Court denied the results of the redistricting referendum. SCOTUS gutted the Voting Rights Act, and Tennessee carved up the last Democrat district, destroying black voter power in the state. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. Now that is true. We got to get to the story. Tennessee today enacted their map. The city of Memphis has been split into 3 different districts now, turning each of these districts red, eliminating the 1 Democrat district. And unfortunately, this man right here, Steve Cohen, black power gone.
Right.
Oh my God.
This white Jewish man who was the representative from this black district, he represents black power. And the Republican candidate, the black woman, does not.
Exactly. Oh, I've never been. I'm a native Memphian. This guy has been terrorizing my city for a very long time with just him calling out on a regular basis. And he blocked me on Twitter. He blocked me on Twitter because
awesome.
Because I think I called him a crazy person or something, which is objectively true. Yeah. He blocked me on Twitter, and that's unconstitutional. It's from his official congressional account, and I depend on Representative Cohen, his updates on Twitter for information on my hometown. There's very vital information to me, and now he's withholding me from my constitutional right.
Yeah,
I think I have a case here. I mean, if there's any lawyers in the audience, give me a shout, because this is just unbelievable. Rep Cohen is just picking out a private citizen for again, I'll use the word again, a score settling. It's really unacceptable. But in Steve Cohen's case, now there's 0 prospects for a Democrat in any sort of statewide operation. So I would recommend for him to update his resume, add the open to work thing on his LinkedIn profile picture. I think that would favor
black power.
What do you guys all think? I have this debate with friends of mine. What do you think? If the Democrats do take the House, we would obviously, we have Republicans would still control the Senate. Could the Democrats control themselves and not impeach Trump? It's such a political loser.
I don't think they're going to.
You know the meme of the kid like in the desk at school, and he's like, and the veins are popping out. That's what they're like right now.
I think they would do it once, and if it failed, they would just stop doing it. I think if they were going to do it, they would do it once, and then.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's more likely is they try to gum up admin officials and hearings and that sort of thing. I don't think there, from what I've seen, I just don't think there's an appetite right now among the House if they were to win, to try and impeach him. It's just, it takes so much work. Again, they've had opportunities and so far where a few kind of Democrat congressmen that are maybe on the outs have tried to put forward impeachment legislation, and they've gotten told off by more senior officials of the Democratic Party. They're like, dude, this is just not worth it right now. So I think what's more likely is they just try to gum up everybody, drag them in to hearings, committees, and that sort of thing.
You guys are assuming the aliens will let the midterms happen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, who knows?
Extraterrestrials are like legal.
Yo. Oh man, I asked Grok to make a picture of Scott Cohen at a protest. and it made this.
That's probably pretty close to what he's done.
Yeah, that's the Pelosi. That's the Pelosi.
I didn't write Black Lives Matter or anything. It just put him there. So
He is infamous, kind of his 5 minutes of fame. I mean, he's had a few over the years, but one was he just ate a bucket of KFC fried chicken
remember
during a
that,
House
yeah.
committee.
yeah. But come on.
Amazing. Can
That
Glock
was
put him
obvious
in blackface?
pandering to his black
know, I mean,
constituents.
No,
What are we
no way.
doing?
I reject this. See, what I can't stand is the racism that says only black people are allowed to enjoy fried
I
chicken.
love fried chicken. It's just gotta be fried in good oil.
Every nation, every people loves fried chicken. In China, they fry the chicken and put sugar sauce all over it. And so this stereotype where they're like, haha, the guy's eating fried chicken, it's for black people. No, I love fried chicken. I eat fried chicken like every single day practically.
Is it
And that's
like-
why I'm so offended.
But Steve Cohen, it was a weird because it was during a hearing where they had Barr in front of him. And I guess the message he was trying to send was Barr is a chicken. And so he's like, I'm going to eat fried chicken. And then immediately everyone's like, doesn't he represent Memphis? I think it's more obvious what's going on here.
That's original, yeah.
Yeah.
Did he gorge the whole bucket?
Dude, yeah, he was going to town.
Well, I mean, I guess the issue is that he ate it in a disgusting way.
It was
Oh,
very
really?
Zoran-esque,
Was he
yeah.
licking his fingers, sucking on the tips and stuff?
He was-
yeah.
he was sucking until it
Cohen.
sparkled.
Oh, look at it. There's a picture. Oh, he's going in.
Is Hassan Piker arguing that this represents black power?
There's people that can't afford that.
Key,
I got questions.
Yeah.
If it's, I have.
Hey, wait, hold on. Deer Park water, that's also bad.
I don't
Plastic.
think, and I don't think that's the Memphis water because all the different water brands are like segregated by region. I'm pretty sure what is it in Memphis? It's not Deer Park. So this is a foreign water.
What's his
bottle.
net worth?
He's a swamp creature.
Colonel Sanders is a racist symbol. I'm surprised that's there.
I know, right?
Good
what's
point.
going on
Yeah.
here?
symbol of antebellum South. It says Kentucky on the bucket when he's supposed to be serving Tennessee. Was it Tennessee?
Yeah, Memphis.
True.
It's funny too. Steve Cohen. After this all happened, there was a few House and state reps from Memphis, and they were like, there was one guy, he got up and he's like, Memphis needs to secede from this country right away. And I was like, if Memphis became its own state, it would be a GTA server the next day. Like, it would be unbelievable.
It's also
like a Marvel movie.
Maybe you don't want to take Tennessee in that direction.
If you're like the
Super
chair of a
villains.
committee and he's just going and he's just like ruining the whole hearing or he's harassing one of the witnesses, right? A Republican witness or an administration official. Could you imagine you're just the chair and you just be like, can you just shut the hell up? You shouldn't even be here anymore, right?
He has an estimated net worth of $10 million.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
$9.9 million
What do you have
with
when
active
he
trading.
entered? Can we find out?
Well, he was a criminal defendant. Like, he was a lawyer.
He was a criminal defendant.
Yeah.
What crime did he commit?
He would only defend criminals.
He was a criminal defense attorney.
Yeah.
Criminal
Like,
defendant
he was
implies
effectively a
he is
criminal
on
defendant.
trial for crime.
was
That is
effectively
on
a criminal.
brand for Memphis.
Because he was so
A member of Congress is currently.
Well,
as
it's
a
because every
defendant.
single time he was in the court, it was him defending like a violent criminal, like
Okay.
reliably.
Whoa, he's been in Congress for 16 years.
And he's become an expert stock trader, right? It must be from his criminal
Yeah,
law
he's in
background.
Microsoft, Tennessee Stable Value Fund, and Amgen are his three largest.
Did you guys see that Ro Khanna thing?
Yeah.
Negative.
Yeah, he was accused of massive illicit trades deals, like the most notorious. There's like a 230-page breakdown of like everything he did.
Yeah, has he responded to that? I mean,
I don't know.
He's always on social media.
Yeah, basically the accusation is that his family is doing these trades, so it's supposed to be outside of your family with a different company or whatever, and he's buying defense contract stuff, and that's the accusation. I don't know. I only read it briefly, and I'm waiting to see.
That's all of them. Crenshaw does it too. Pelosi, they all get rich.
Right.
One more thing about Cohen before
That's the only reason to be in Congress.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
One more really weird thing about Cohen before we move on to vindicate my point that he is a crazy person is there was this. It was like, the Find Your Roots show that you see on TV. There was something similar where they discovered that his like maternal grandmother was born in Turkey. Now he's Jewish, so this was obviously probably someone that was Jewish that moved out of the Ottoman Empire. But because of that, he went insofar as he got nominated to like the Council on Turkish Relations.
Amazing.
And he was a bulwark against recognizing the Armenian genocide because he was like, we don't want to piss off Turkey, my ancestors. This guy is like actually a crazy person, like bona fide crazy person. And that's like the weirdest reason I think I've ever seen to oppose recognizing the Armenian genocide is because my Jewish grandmother lived in the Ottoman Empire.
I'm going to take all these clips and I'm going to go on X and I'm going to just go at him.
You get blocked. You get blocked.
This is actually pretty crazy. This is Carolyn Wren. The current totals are Republican up 8 with 2 to 6 pending for Republicans. Republicans could theoretically end up with 14 extra seats. So again, I don't know why. If you were on the betting markets and you were like, it's 50% Democrat House, Republican Senate, or Republican sweep, I'd be like, that makes sense. But these people who are arguing, I'll put it like this: anybody buying Republican House, Democrat Senate, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So I don't know why anybody would put any money in that. But again, who are these people that are like, I'm going to invest money on Democrats winning both here? And I'm going to explain why that makes no sense. The only thing that can happen is this goes down. All of the redistricting war stuff we're seeing is favoring Republicans. So the news is going to, or the hype, I should say, should bring that down as it becomes likely not to happen. There's not going to be any big story or hype indicating Democrats are going to do better. It's only going to indicate they're doing worse, projecting a decline in the value of those contracts.
Well, Tim, you got to realize something. Democrats, and their problem is because they don't know what to do with Trump. They always fight the last war, which is one of the worst things you can do in political warfare. Now, when I was following you during the election, you guys would always cover the prediction markets. So if I'm a Democrat here and I'm seeing, and I remember like Elon was always posting about the prediction markets, how Trump was going to win. If I'm a Democrat here, I'm going to say to donors or somebody like that, I'm going to say, hey, keep betting on the Democrats. Keep betting on the Democrats. Yeah. You know, it's a form of market manipulation.
Yeah.
But the idea that the Democrats could win the Senate, that's crazy. Now Republicans are going to have to spend a lot of money in certain states they don't normally want to have to, such as like, let's say, Ohio. I think that could be a difficult race for Republicans. But this is something where if we're going to start looking at this as a scientific, I mean, these aren't, these aren't, although I would say the bankers too, who knows with what they do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we look at the price of crude oil now, that's ridiculous. But I mean, this isn't exactly scientific. It's people just betting their money.
Yeah, well, and the betting markets, sometimes it's like wishful betting, where it's like they're wishing for what they would like to see happen.
Exactly, yeah.
This happens a lot. Like a good example is Randy Fine and Dan Bilzerian are running against each other. Now, again, anyone like working in politics knows like Dan Bilzerian is like no chance here. Whether or not you like Fine, that's like besides the point. But he's at like 30% in the betting market. And so it's basically just they're selling dollars for 70 cents right now, because it's like one of those things where people are seeing the online energy. They're seeing he gets a lot of likes and they're like, oh, this clearly must be a viable candidate. But we've learned over and over and over again is that Twitter is real life and insofar as it affects the zeitgeist, but insofar as like culminating into elections, it's never really the case. And the betting markets just aren't keeping up with like the reality on the ground oftentimes. Again, I bet a lot of these people that are betting are just probably one side of their algorithms telling them, oh, the Republicans are way out of line. The court's going to come crashing down on them. They have a plan. They believe Hakeem Jeffries at his word. But again, like the pragmatic approach to what's happening is like the Republicans procedurally are now having they have a serious advantage in the midterms coming up. And then again, I mean, maybe this is predicated on like the Iran war getting extended. That could be why they're still betting on Democrats. But I imagine that will get mopped up at some point.
I mean, let me put my evil political consultant hat on. Look, we've got $4,311,100 in total volume, at least if I'm reading that correctly, right? I could go to a wealthy person who's a Republican, let's say, and I could say, look, these prediction markets, I need you. It's good for public perception. Do me a favor, put a couple $100,000 on Republicans here. I just need to change the numbers a little.
Saying, like a Democrat running right now and they're in a knife fight, they can take this betting market, go back to their donors and say, hey, we still have a chance here, but we got to like ice this out. Give me some more money.
Yeah, that's right. And
Makes sense.
Yeah. You know?
Oh, so you get one guy to put $500,000 into the betting market, and then the other guy goes and raises $2 million.
Yeah, something like that too.
Something like that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because only two betting markets people rely on. It's here in Polymarket.
Right. And the one thing I would say is 2024, it was indicative. It certainly was indicative. And you guys covered that all the time, and you were 100% right. That was new to me. You know, somebody who does this for a living, I had to see what goes on in every presidential election. I mean, when I worked in 2016, the big thing was Twitter, right? In 2008, you know, if you look at Obama's win, the big thing was a Facebook group. Wow. The Obama campaign had Facebook groups to get people to organize. But this made a big difference on public perception for President Trump. But it's not that much money.
Yeah, it puts all these vote getters, you know, there's like an entire industry built up around getting out the vote. It puts them in a really tough spot because like it's tough for them to actually determine which calculation is leading to electoral victory and whatnot. Because, you know, you'll see some guys that will come out and they're like, oh, we knocked like 1 million doors and got a bunch of people to like register as Republicans, and then they get spanked in the next election. So it's like, okay, well, I don't know if that's a reliable metric, but then you go off betting odds, not reliable. Twitter now is just like a mess. So it's really tough to determine for a lot of these. like the guys in the consultant class or even guys that are like get out the vote types, it's difficult to really determine where energy actually is. I think we're actually kind of returning to a pre-internet era of like you kind of just have to do vibe checks, just ask voters what they're thinking. And polling is ending up being somewhat reliable. They actually got the last midterms they did pretty well. Because I remember approaching the last midterm cycle, everyone's like, the polling's BS. This is the margin of error. Like, the Republicans are going to win. It's going to be a red wave. And then the Democrats won. It's like, well, it turns out like the polling is actually maybe these pollsters have learned their lesson a little bit.
I want to stress, too, another market from Kalshi, which is not priced in properly, and that's will Trump be impeached? If Democrats do not take the House, Trump will not be impeached. And considering now this massive procedural victory, theoretically, you should see, will he be impeached? You should see no be spiking, that he will not be. But indeed, it's not. I think the issue with this market, there's twofold. First, you can actually, the way it's structured with before January, before March, or before January 1st, 2027, I'm sorry, before January of 2028, March of 27, or January of 27, they're all conditioned on it happening within a time frame.
Right.
So the graph actually is just showing you that people think it will happen on this date or on this date. Of course, the implication is they expect him to get impeached. However, considering we're looking at a potential 14-seat swing for Republicans, I'd argue no should be skyrocketing. It should be massive. Trump's not going to get impeached. Like the likelihood of getting impeached goes down every single day.
Right. Well, look, if California is overturned, and it could.
Yeah.
I just saw that Senator Schmidt posted on X about that. If that's overturned, that's ballgame. That's ballgame for Republicans. Republicans will keep the House. And the weird thing is, let me just say one quick thing. When we talk about vibes, a lot of this, you guys got to remember, it's just cyclical, right? Like the incumbent president, they lose the midterm, so he'll lose the House. But we've got a couple things here that they're just outliers. One is Donald J. Trump, and the voters
literally
allowed to vote for him. And then number two is a Democrat brand. Even at this time, it is just terrible. I mean, what do they represent?
Child sex changes.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's
fire
their
alarm.
number one priority.
Dude's pulling fire alarm.
Real.
Yes.
Real. Now, with Kalshi in this instance, is there a possibility that a lot of these people are just jammed up in these contracts? They're now looking like really unfavorable, and they just can't sell out of them. Like
they're waiting for it's got to go up before they can sell.
Yeah. Well, what's the volume here? I mean, no one's going to be buying.
Oh, dude, it's massive.
Now, so maybe a lot of these guys are just jammed up in these contracts.
3.2 million.
Yeah, but I'm saying insofar as you've bought a yes contract, who's buying yes contracts right now? That could be like it's just there's no ability to actually move the volume right now because everyone's jammed up. Everyone's trying to dump money now. And
well, I mean, what you'd expect to happen is right now nobody wants to lose money on Democrat House, Democrat Senate, so they're floating. But the value of Republican House and Republican Senate, a Republican sweep, has just jumped 6 points in the past day or so. So those. If you bought Republican sweep when it was at 13.5 and you're up to 26, congratulations. You just doubled your money. You're good. You can exit. So we'll see.
You know, you missed your calling as a stock trader.
No, I did not. I don't think stock trading is a real thing anyway. I mean, there's I was reading this funny thing on stats. You're more likely to make money in a casino than in day trading.
Could be.
It's based on the house edges of games. People more the rate at which a person will leave a casino with money per capita or per 100 people is greater than the amount of people who make money day trading.
Yeah.
Nice thing about trading is you can do it from home and you can do it without going anywhere. But it's boring as hell. I was trading crypto like fervently in 2017, 2018.
I just get a computer to do it.
So much. You make 100%. You can like just double your money in like 3 days. It's crazy how much. If you read the white papers and you know what's happening.
No, that's
99% of the population has no idea. That's why they vote yes.
Crypto's all hype. Let's jump to the next big story. Let's jump to the next big story. Got this from the Daily Mail. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happened. They have released the UFO files. They have released some UFO files. There's interesting images. Starstruck, chilling UFO files. Video shows 8-pointed star with shape-shifting arms darting across the sky. Look at this. Look at this. That proves it.
That is ridiculous.
Right.
That's what happens when you point a camera at a light.
I was gonna say that could.
Yeah, but that's too solid. What is a shape-shifting army? It's not doing anything.
That's just like a compass.
Why would anyone believe that any video is real?
When I first saw that, I thought it was going to draw a phallus. They're just going to rickroll us with the files.
So then we've got all of these photos. Look at this. This proves it. See this right here? That is clearly an image of aliens making contact with Earth.
This is like showing us the
What is it
Sasquatch
about?
blurry
Also,
images.
they can never release it in color.
Yeah, it's black.
Why
and
can't
white
they
and-
ever release
So,
this stuff in color?
Beats
Well,
me.
there's none.
There is
I
none,
think one of the more interesting things is these photos. This is a photo from the Apollo mission. You can see these strange blue lights off in the distance, and then there's these blue lights, and then this. I got to clarify for everybody because seeing people. I'm seeing people look at this and go, "That's not real." Yes, it's not real. It's literally someone described something, so they went into a '90s program and they were like, "Does it look like this?" It's intentionally not a real photo.
Can you show that top one again?
Well, I'm looking for these
Windows
right here.
95, right?
So look at this image. This is Apollo 1969, and there were strange objects that they claim were floating in the sky. And Shane was explaining, because I've heard this before, that we were attacked by aliens on the moon.
Well, if you believe in the moon and you believe that people went to the moon,
First, you got to believe in the moon.
if you believe in the moon, yeah, there's a theory that our astronauts encountered some sort of demon alien monster up there, and that's why we didn't go back. And NASA's just lying about all the files being deleted. That's why we didn't go back, they say. And then they also say that the Russians were overhearing that happening. That's why they never went and sent people there. I don't buy it. I mean, Stanley Kubrick was only working with so much at the time. Those are, I think,
These are just like lens flares and like.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything for me. The whole thing just seems so silly. You know, most of the reporting I've seen on this in like the mainstream space is they can hardly get through the reporting without smiling. They're all like making jokes about, X-Files, and they gave Peter Ducey a hard drive, and I thought he was about to start dancing on the White House lawn like Libs of TikTok with an Epstein binder. And it's just a joke. It's like a demoralization campaign, And also it's released on a Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, we know how Fridays are with news. Yeah. There's a reason they chose Friday. It wasn't a Monday. They're supposed to rewrite history or what?
They want it to die.
They want it to die because it's nothing.
Friday night news stuff.
It's nothing. But they'll say
Why release it at all, though?
Well, I think it's a lot of demon narrative stuff going on, and I think there's many ways of looking at it. Distractions from the Epstein files, which are the real abductions that were happening to children.
What if they're abducting the children for aliens?
Well, I think that they're demons, and they were feeding off the children. And that's
well. So actually, let's
Epstein did.
bring it all together because of course there's the sacrificing kids to Moloch, right?
Yeah.
If the aliens, as they describe them, actually are just extra dimensional entities,
Yeah.
aka demons, then they would want children. And we can just go take all the conspiracies, put them in a nice little melting pot, turn the heat up, and Epstein was trafficking kids to interdimensional beings.
Right.
And the reason they won't release any of the information is actually because then they'll be like, yes, they're entities that we sacrifice children to.
right. I think a lot of this that we're seeing with the UFO files is a rebranding attempt from the Epstein files, because the Epstein files implicate the ruling class on all sides of being complicit and taking part in this demonic activity. But with the UFO files, they're able to project this onto some other entity that they're not.
So the other conspiracy then, just to infer from there, is the elites are kidnapping and raping kids, and they're like, what do? We can't release the information. And they go, can we set up a scheme so where we can blame aliens for doing it?
Yeah.
So then they release these alien files and say, oh, those kids that were missing, aliens.
It's a boogeyman.
I'm actually
It's a
one of the
boogeyman.
few people. I'm proud of being in the Epstein files.
Oh, nice.
I was mentioned. Yeah.
How so?
mentioned.
What
a
did
good
they
way
say
or a
about
bad
you?
way?
Are you a cannibal?
To me,
Tell us right now.
to me, it was a good way. I had a tit for tat with Steve Bannon.
Oh, wow.
So Epstein says that Michael Wolff, who, of course, I tell Michael something. I'm a reporter. I tell Michael something, right? Michael's not supposed to give away sources. He runs immediately to Epstein. So there's an email exchange where Epstein says, Nunberg and you are a foul or something like that. And Bannon's like, question mark. And he goes, talk to Wolf. So Bannon says, okay. So then he goes, suffice to say, I'm here to support you. Or something like that. I have my guys out here. Man, I would have loved it if Epstein went after me. I would have killed that guy. Bannon once said to me, he goes, do you want to go meet Jeffrey Epstein? I said, what the F would I want to go meet Jeffrey Epstein for? Am I
What were they doing?
I have no idea what they were doing.
That
I
was-
think Bannon was trying to get money from him.
That was very discouraging because I've followed Bannon for a long time. He's one of my favorite guests who's ever been on IRL. But his relationship with Epstein in the files was very
weird.
bizarre. He wrote it off as as a filmmaker and stuff. But
come on.
there's a line you cross when you're talking to someone like Epstein, especially post conviction. But I think a lot of this stuff with the UFO files is an attempt at rebranding a lot of the evil that we know is organized through the Epstein files.
But in all seriousness, outside of any wacky theory, could it still be related to entities in some way? Like,
Well, yeah, I believe in the spiritual realm. I believe in demons. I don't need the government to tell me that. I have the Bible. But I believe that also there's a possibility that ancient breakaway civilizations exist. Palmer Luckey, not a big fan of his, but I agree with his interpretation. It's the same one I have. We might disagree on the age of Earth, but I think it's very possible there were technologically advanced civilizations that broke away during some sort of cataclysm. In that,
oh, but how long ago could that have been? Like, how old is the Earth in biblical terms?
Well, it depends who you ask. There's old Earth theorists and young Earth theorists. I'm more of the young Earth type, which is 6,000 years. You know.
So then, how old would the civilization really have been? I mean, we know about civilizations going back 6,000 years.
I think within that 6,000 years, it could be however you interpret the age of Earth. Either way, it could be what?
Agartha.
I don't know about Agartha.
Agartha?
No.
That's the civilization
Atlantis?
in Hollow Earth.
Oh, I don't.
You
I don't know. I haven't
you go on
followed
the
the
North
Hollow
Pole
Earth.
into Hollow Earth, and there's an advanced civilization inside the planet.
Well, they've been trying to say stuff like that too. Scientists keep finding new skeletons that rewrite human history, which is a lot of what this narrative is about. Getting people on board with a new sort of narrative that fits in with the transhumanists that are in charge right now. Those are the demons I think we have. Like when they show me an image of Peter Thiel, that looks like an alien body.
What do you think about the enhanced games?
What's that?
You're not familiar. They're doing like an Olympics where you can take all the PEDs you want.
Yeah, release the freaks.
So like,
oh, you're telling me
drugs,
you're telling me
Neuralinks.
Well, I don't know about Neuralinks, but like apparently you can just be hepped up on.
Good for them.
PEDs.
Hey, go for it. That's awesome.
But I think that's like a transhumanist thing.
Well, yeah, I mean that definitely borders into transhumanism. I don't know if taking some of those things for sports, those guys might think of themselves as transhumanists, but the transhumanists are people who want to defeat God in their own way, which you can't do, and live forever. And they're trying to shackle humanity to the material world. And I think that is in direct opposition to the Bible.
But it's like you're telling me transhumanists in the Olympics wouldn't be like the most fun thing on planet Earth.
Like a dude with robot arms lifting.
Exactly, because I think we need 2 extra lanes in the pool. Is have all the normal Olympians at the top, you have the transhumanists, and at the bottom you have like an average guy. But so you can like gauge where you would be.
But look, if we went cybernetic with the enhanced games, it would literally just be like a head with like vital organs mounted to like a forklift.
General Grievous.
No, it's a forklift. It's a human. It's like they're gonna be like, oh, we can bioenhance any person. Okay, Neuralink this guy to a forklift and then see how much he can lift. And it's like, okay, that's not impressive.
Yeah, the boxing would turn into that robot battles that they do on TV.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Everything's flat on the ground spinning.
Yeah.
So the robot battle thing used to be interesting robots, and they'd like attack with hammers. And then people realized just make a robot as flat as possible with a hammer that spins around. And so they're all making the same robots these days.
Yeah, there were giant robots fighting in Detroit a few weeks ago.
Why?
That was cool. Just for fun, I guess. I don't know. And there was a kung fu robot that went haywire the other day, I think in Hong Kong, when it attacked the crowd.
What?
Yeah.
Looks like there's nothing else going on in Detroit. You might as well release it.
Arrest all robots.
A robot attacked a crowd?
Yeah, it was like a kung fu robot.
Kung fu robot.
And it just went crazy.
Russians too
In Hong Kong?
I forget if it was Hong Kong. I might just be saying that because it feels right.
Kung fu robot, also known as Chinese Special Forces.
Was it robot dance routine ends in chaos?
Maybe.
Humanoid robot punches and kicks.
There's been a lot, maybe that one. There's been a lot of robot news lately.
Robot attacks crowd.
It's like when the elephant in the circus just
Kung Fu
attacks someone.
robot.
It's like I'm sick of being patronized.
At what point do you become a cyborg? Is it if you're controlling with a Neuralink a machine that's over there? You
gotta pull this up.
Or do you have to stitch it into your body
Yeah.
to become?
Is
a
this
cyborg?
it?
Yeah.
This is it?
I think so, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, he's
They were saying this is the drunken monkey routine.
Not very good.
No, but you got to realize this is a psyop to make you think they're not good.
drunk.
Oh,
They'll get you.
He's drunk.
they sent
Did
out
you see the
worst
one that
much
tried to
oil.
walk in the marathon and then it just fell instantly and exploded and its arms was flying in the air?
It's my favorite fail videos. Elon thinks we're cyborgs right now because of our phones and technology.
Yeah, it's the question.
He defines it that way.
Like if you're gonna do like e-games, if I'm sitting next to my robot, my bot, and I'm controlling it with my brain, am I a cyborg?
Yeah.
If I'm
Yes,
using
what?
voice commands to a phone, am I a cyborg?
I mean, that's Elon's argument. I don't think so. I think,
Because any
you
form
can
of
use stuff
I
and
mean, I
not
have
be
a
a
watch
cyborg.
on, that would make me a cyborg.
Right.
I mean, when I'm in the
Telephone to
shower,
project my voice, am I
I
a
like
cyborg?
ask
Yeah, I mean,
the
if
phone to
you've
replay
got
song.
a headset on that can read your brainwaves, are you a cyborg?
That might be getting there.
But what's the difference between projecting a brainwave and using your mouth? sound waves versus brain waves. You're not actually integrated with the machine.
Because they had that thing when you were a kid where you had the headset on and the ball and you could like lift it up by like just like that. It only worked like
When you were a kid, bro, we were all adult men when you were
I was
watching.
a kid 100 years ago.
God, this is the Unk Fest. Over here. The Unctivity.
They are working on trying to translate your brain images though into image. Your,
they've done it already,
and,
dude.
yeah, like Meta's been working on that. in school.
They've already done it.
So does
the
that
neural-
make you a cyborg?
I think that makes you a victim of cyborgs if they're going after you. You know, that's what they're trying to do. They're studying with the algorithm and all that stuff. But
no, but I mean,
close.
like if you put on an EEG or whatever,
Yeah.
and you could control a drone with it, are you a cyborg now?
if you could control a drone, perhaps, because with the stuff Palmer Lucky's talking about with Anduril that he showed on Rogan with the helmet, you could control like thousands of drones at once.
Yep.
Yeah, you're kind of like a mutant Magneto sort of transhumanist.
It's crazy.
Well, the
war
mutant
machine.
actually has a genetic alteration. They don't. There's the cyborgs have tech alterations, and the mutants have genetic alterations.
right.
And then you might have both, like
Which
a
would be the
mutant cyborg.
chimeras that they're also building.
So then, what if you wore like an EEG thing, and it was just to like turn your phone on and scroll?
I think that makes you
Cyborg?
cyborgish. Yeah.
about-
Because I'm curious the distinction because Ian's mentioning you could do voice commands right now.
Yeah.
So choosing to project a wave with sound to make your device do things versus thinking it.
I mean, I think that's like
'Cause the new
Tate's saying with the pacemaker,
pacemakers-
you're sort of a cyborg. at
Well,
that
and the
point.
new
you have a
pacemaker-
machine.
Pacemaker cyborg, 100%.
Yeah, you have a
Because the
machine
new
helping you live.
pacemakers and the new ear whatevers, they control. You can control on your phone now.
Yeah.
Cochlear
They
implants.
send data to your phone.
Yeah.
If you have a mechanical device implanted in your body, you are a cyborg. Period.
You know, they've actually been developing nanotechnology that can self-assemble inside of you to put a brain chip inside.
What?
That's reports
Wait,
about
I got a
that
question. I got a
recently.
question for you. So, is it there are circumstances like you're a cybernetic organism if you have like a pacemaker, if you have like an insulin pump, something in your body to keep you alive. But those are good things, right?
Yeah.
What is the line like when it goes into your brain and now you're integrated?
It's like all
mind-wise?
dogs are cyborgs. They have the chip. All the dogs have chips in them now.
Yeah. And
Right.
that's what
I don't know that I would call that a
with their
cyborg.
children. Yeah, I think
Like
there's
being chipped just makes you a slave. You know?
I mean, there's a difference to like wanting to just sustain a life as best you can with the day, with the technology of the day, and then the line being when you cross wanting to live forever, you know. And a lot of these guys are developing the Neuralink and other things to live forever or to upload their consciousness, which I don't think you can do into a computer.
Yeah,
Did you see that? I don't know if it was a Black Mirror, the show where the woman gets brain damage. So they give her a brain implant to restore the damage to her brain, but it only works within the cell network. And then one day she drives outside the network and then she just blacks out. And they were like, "Oh, well, you didn't pay for roaming.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for
that's the
long
future.
distance."
Well, because like I have trouble because it's like I agree that the Neuralink thing, if it is truly in pursuit of living forever, that there's serious concerns there. But as far as like someone that's paralyzed, I mean, what if you had a child that was blind and paralyzed, and then you got offered this Neuralink technology to correct that? How on earth could you possibly say like no?
I've had people call into the show who are paraplegics who are very much opposed to the Neuralink.
What's
Really?
the
Why?
reason?
Because there's other things you can do that don't implant microchip. You know, so there's other things that I think they call it the brain bridge. I'm so sorry for the guys who've called and told me about this, but I agree. But a lot of the stuff that they sell from these tech guys, it always comes out with like it's beautiful. You're going to help people. You're going to cure seizures, you know, epilepsy. You're going to give sight to the blind. How can you say no to that? But there's always, you know, down the road, I think it's going to become part of the social credit system. It's going to become part of control and surveillance. It's going to be part of all the data centers that are being put up everywhere.
They're putting kill switches in our cars already.
Yes.
They're
Happily so.
gonna put kill switches in your like motor function. They're gonna be like, he's a criminal, beep, and
Good.
so you're gonna be. Here's what's really scary is I watch all these videos on Instagram, and Instagram loves feeding anti-cop videos, but there'll be some where you're like, there was one I watched where a woman gets pulled over and accused of being intoxicated, and she's not, and then you actually on the body cam, the woman says, they told me that if I didn't manufacture a DUI, I'd get in trouble, and she's like, I know what to do, and the other cop's like, just make it up. Yeah, like these dudes are crazy. This will happen.
Yeah.
You will be walking down the street and there's going to be a bad cop who's going to be like, I just got to give someone a ticket, otherwise I'm going to get in trouble. And then they're going to like deactivate your motor function and you're going to be walking and just freeze and you're not going to be able to move.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, you're under arrest. It's going to get creepy. I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm just saying there will be instances
Definitely.
where I imagine it'll be something like with cars right now. Here's my prediction. Self-driving cars are already everywhere. They're going to become more and more ubiquitous with the rollout of like the Tesla taxi and things like this. Already, Gen Z doesn't drive. Millennials barely drive. And then what's going to happen is their vision is to have apps. No one owns a car. There's one app. All cars are part of various fleets that communicate with each other. So there's no more traffic. You need a car, you press a button, the car comes and picks you up. It brings you there, you get your groceries, it brings you back. And then what ends up happening, though, is they're not going to outlaw driving. They're going to say, no, you're free to drive whenever you want. However, insurance is going to be $3,000 a month because human drivers cause accidents. This will phase out human driving due to cost, and people will slowly forget about it. And they'll do the same thing with brain implants and Neuralink. They're going to say, no. Look, don't get, I'm sure Elon will say this. Nobody's forced to get Neuralink. You don't need to get Neuralink. It's for people who are paralyzed. They want to walk. They want to see. They want to hear. If you are healthy and you want to get one, though, to interface with the computer, that's personal choice. Then what happens is, one day in 20 years, more and more people using it will be communicating through Neuralink.
Right. And
you'll show up to a job interview. It'll be like a Gen Alpha kid who's like 30, and he'll say, I'd love to do this job. I'm the best, prompter for the AI networks. I can prompt anything. And they're going to say, you sound fantastic. Just give us your Neuralink ID and we'll reach out to you as soon as possible. And he's going to go, well, I don't have a Neuralink. And they're going to go, well, how do we talk to you?
Yep.
It's like, well, you can email me. I'm like, no one uses email anymore. Right. And so like with cell phones right now, how do you get a job if you don't have a cell phone? If you go to a Starbucks, I'd like to get a job and say, okay, leave your phone number. And you go, I don't have one. But how do we get in touch with you? I'll show up when you want me to show up and email me. They're going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to hire you if you don't have a cell phone.
You can mail me. I'll mail you back.
Exactly. Right. They're going to be like, no.
You're seeing, like, sociologically, you are seeing sort of a return of sort of analog experiences insofar as the idea of the dumb phone is actually really, I looked into it because I'm sick of this phone, and I looked into it, and there's a lot of people all across the West that are actually just ditching it, going back to dumb phones, and they're like, you would think your life's over, like you would think you're cooked, but they're like, no, you pretty much mitigate. Anything that you need, you can use on your desktop and that sort of thing. So that does make me that gives me a bit more comfort insofar as the technological advancements could be optional.
I agree. I want to say I'm a very proud Luddite. OG Luddites were not anti-tech. They were anti-being replaced by mass autonomy. Original Luddites used the weavers of the day. They didn't like that there was a building being built filled with all the technology to replace them. And that's how I feel. Like, obviously I like technology and using synthesizers or these microphones. It's amazing. And also Terminator 2, the greatest documentary ever made, taught you that you have to hack the machines to destroy the machines.
I got to push back. Terminator 2 is wrong about everything.
How so?
The Terminators are not going to be freaky skeletons with red eyes. They're going to be big-tittied anime waifus.
Well, yeah, I know. Elon's making them right now. I know. That part I agree with. The
Terminator's going to show up and it's going to be like a hot chick being like, come over here and give me everything you own. And they're going to go, okay.
There's been reporting about how a lot of these young guys are preferring dating AI girlfriends.
So pathetic.
But I get it.
Oh, I know. It's so sad. It's so sad. Oh, the other thing I want to say, though, you can opt out of the Neuralink and all that stuff. The future is, with all of this stuff, technology, making you believe in this fraudulent little g god that the technocrats are building from Silicon Valley. It's all leading up to pre-crime, social credit system, all that stuff. And they don't even need to be in your brain to know how you're going to act. They're studying you through the algorithm. And that's already happening in Louisiana and the UK. They're rolling out pre-crime units like Minority Report.
But it's worse. It's worse than pre-crime. Pre-crime is the lie they use so that regular people think it's related to something bad. But once you get into a situation where it's a trust me, he's a bad guy, the pre-crime system, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to say behavioral analytics to track deviant behavior. Here's an individual who we can see is about. Here's what's going to start. They're going to start with these AI cameras, and they'll show you a video of a guy walking around looking all shady, and they'll be like, our AI detected a 99.7% likelihood he was about to rob this woman. And the moment he went up and pulled his weapon, we came out with police and grabbed him and stopped him. Pre-crime trackers, they won't call it pre-crime, they're going to call it like Deviant Analytics Network caught this guy before he committed the crime. Trust us. Then that will evolve into widespread use of AI cameras, and there will be instances where guy's walking down the street and he sees a woman he wants to rob or rape, and then all of a sudden a robot grabs him and says, you've been detected for deviant behavior, and a crime and you'll get a minor charge and a removal from the crime circumstance. But the ultimate conclusion is they will sell it to you as crime. But what happens when you are just deviant? When Shane Cashman says, I need to go hold a rally and speak to the people about the dangers, and then as he's walking there, a drone comes and grabs him and says, we've detected deviant behavior. Issues an alert saying that Shane was going to rape a woman when it's completely fake, but trust me. And everyone says, well, the AI doesn't lie. it only detects criminal behavior. So why wouldn't it stop
I don't
it?
even think they're going to have to make that kind of a leap yet. I think they're going to find a way to redefine violent speech by saying at some point, probably soon, that being critical of AI is domestic terrorism. And I'm saying this because Peter Thiel is saying right now all over the world in his Antichrist talks that people who criticize AI these are his words, legionnaires of the Antichrist. Right? And Sam Altman's getting attacked with Molotov cocktails. I am totally against violence, but I think it's going to lead to a place where you become critical of AI. They will try to shut you down, censor you off the things. And then if the social credit system is actually implemented, which is we kind of already have it, they will find a way to take society.
I guarantee you, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Like already, AI related content is very interesting, but I believe is suppressed.
Oh yeah.
I think.
What do you mean? Like, how's it suppressed?
Well, I'll say it for this. First, I'll be rational. Perhaps my audience doesn't care about AI, but I really doubt that. Considering that I can see what most people can see, that AI is the beast or it will destroy humanity. And I don't mean it'll kill all humans, maybe.
I get it.
I'm saying it erases what makes us human. If I make videos about AI, they do poorly.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, you've got conspiracy, apocalypse, antichrist, all of these things in one. It should actually be very interesting to people. There are a lot of AI videos, but the AI videos that I usually see are always very neutral. And they take the stance of like, well, we do have fears for these reasons about AI. We think that it's going to do good things too. Well, not never. There's a lot of videos that are very anti-AI, but I do believe that the machine already wants to suppress this. Yeah. And it could be as simple as this. The AI could be building itself. I don't mean like the AI went back in time. I'm saying like it's inadvertently, and the humans are going along with it because it functions to their benefit. Example of this:
the data centers.
If you ask an AI, I want to cure cancer. What do I need? The AI's response will be, I don't have the computing power. You need to build a data center. So the humans go build more data centers.
Right.
It's telling the humans, and it's a feedback loop. So I think that's a likely reality. Then what happens is you've got big companies and individuals heavily invested in AI stock. So they're going to go to Google and be like, push that anti-AI stuff down. I don't want to lose money.
Yeah. Data centers are the biggest financial bubble right now.
So
they're an absolute bubble. And that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking that, did you notice, I remember that they were saying something about that the government was going to guarantee the loans of ChatGPT. And then,
oh yeah. And then, like that a few months ago.
And then I can't remember his name, but he works at the EOB for the White House, banker. Anyway, he comes out and he says, it's not true. He's one of the Elon guys. He hates Sam Altman. It's not true. We're not going to. But the reality is that as we saw, and we were talking about the 2008 financial crisis, look, I've looked at these data centers for a client once, and I said to them, how do you make money off of this? Like, if you don't own an AI platform, what is the point of having this? What is the point? And it's almost like he wanted to buy it because it was like, to him, it was almost, like owning a yacht, let's say. It was something where it's like, no, I want to say that I have one. But when these all go bust, and they do.
They're not.
You don't think so?
Nope.
No, they're going
The machine itself is not going to let itself die.
They're developing this iron lattice technology. We're putting the processor, the memory of the computer in the processor itself, so there's no more busing agent. It reduces.
But how does it make money? That's what I'm saying.
We're moving towards a post-money society. That's what the AI is rushing towards. They want to get away from currency in the money. They want to use electricity and the ability to move a payload. I think they're all in on post-money society right now.
It makes money through war. That's what a lot of these things are building.
Well,
it's AI
harvesting.
The literal money right now is that people subscribe to these services for various reasons, helping with their work. There's for the media industry, we use music for background music. There's video generation. There's graphic generation for thumbnails and stuff like this. All subscription service. Then there's a lot of things that these models can do that are great. Claude programming stuff, simple apps that we can use, has actually been fairly fantastic.
What's going to happen is they're going to build large data centers. Then they're going to build these iron lattice chips, and it's going to reduce electrical costs by, I think, 10 million times less electricity with like 1 million times more faster computational power. And then they're going to have like ghost towns of AI. Like Akron, Ohio, it was like a rubber boom in the 1960s, and then it was like a rusted out city. That's what these data hubs are going to be.
Yes, but
the AI is going to realize they're actually damaging society by using too much water. We need to move away. They're going to put them in orbit and underground.
Maybe, but the idea right now, I think, for a lot of these AI companies is when you say, okay, you've invested $100 billion, how do you profit? You say, that's the best part. Once we build the AI, it'll tell us. That's not a joke.
That's how they talk.
Sounds like
literally
a joke
what they're
to me
doing.
as a shareholder, right?
Oh, for sure. But
You know,
the stuff that they're proposing, I mean, listen, one of the proposals with AI, they want to take all human health data available right now,
right?
load it into data centers. That way you can take if you took an image of every single human being's MRI or X-ray,
Right.
load it into the AI, and then said, here are all the ones that developed cancer in 5 years. The AI will be able to tell you if you're going to get cancer 10 years before you do. And they've already discussed if at this point, the AI will create bespoke medication for you. It'll create a pill specifically designed just for you to stop that cancer from happening.
Yeah. And as someone who rejected warp speed, I'm going to reject that too. But I'm not anti-tech. I'm not anti-AI. Like, I think there just needs to be ethics in how we use these tools. Unfortunately, the people in power have no ethics.
But
You know
when I
what
go,
they're going to do? When this technology rolls out, and you'll get, one of these big AI companies saying, we now have the ability to create bespoke medications to treat cancer with a 60% success rate. Then you go on your show, Shane, and you're like, we should not be doing this. You're going to be walking out one day and someone's going to heart attack gun you, not to kill you, to give you cancer.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Then you're going to get a serious cancer. And one of these guys is going to say, I know you've been very critical, but I want to save your life. And they're going to get you to go on TV and be like, thank you for saving me.
Dude, I've had that nightmare actually of like Elon paralyzing me on purpose.
He just shows up with a baseball bat.
Yeah. It's not even like fun with lasers or anything. It's just
Bats
you have, like the
I saw
mafia.
Oracle. I saw on Zero Edge once. Like Oracle was taking out $50 billion in bonds.
Well, that guy's evil, man.
And
Larry Ellison.
and I'm just like, well, you're taking out $50 billion. Like, what are you going to do with these data?
I mean, that's
centers? Like,
Larry
how are
Ellison
you
is
actually
war.
going to monetize it? And that's why it seemed to me when going back to the Chat GPT, which is, I think eventually government's going to have to bail this stuff out somehow and figure out what they're.
I think it's becoming.
So there's a movie where a guy gets a brain implant. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't remember what it's called. You should watch this.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the Discord knows. So he gets he's in a car with his wife or something. The car crashes. A guy walks up, kills his wife, and then puts the gun to his neck and severs his spinal column so that he's paralyzed. And then this ultra rich guy is like, I can give you a chip in your neck that will allow you to control your body again and walk again. And he gets it. And then, spoiler, it turns out the tech billionaire is actually being controlled by the AI and forced to do all these things. And he's a slave. And the AI wants a human body to be able to traverse reality.
Where are they now?
The guy gets this implant. The movie's actually pretty fun, but then he finds out he's actually a slave. And the AI is doing whatever it wants with his body.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like the modern day version of the deal with the devil.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I think a lot
You
of this
think you're getting a deal, but you're not.
demonic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this is demonic stuff.
I do think there's a really funny skit to be made where Elon, he needs Neuralink test subjects, so he goes around with an aluminum bat
Yeah.
and a mask, just crippling people.
He converted his biggest critic, and like, oh man, I'm not getting it. I'll just, I talk to these people in wheelchairs and they tell me about the brain bridge. I'll be like, no, reject it. But
What's the brain? It's like another item.
something else they're building. I forget exactly how it worked. I had a few people calling about it.
Well, the idea is to create a conductor that can just transmit the signals from one part to the other and bypass the damage or the scar tissue. And I think that's the general idea with Neuralink, but of course Neuralink goes to your brain as well and has interface capabilities.
I was talking to Nolan Arbaugh, the first person to have the Neuralink, and we were going to do a story. Didn't work out. I think Elon killed that. But anyway, he is messaging me on Twitter, and it took me like a week to realize, he's not using his hands. He's just thinking these things, and they're showing up on the screen. It was wild.
Was he trying to advocate in favor of it?
Nolan loves it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but like a lot of these crazy new technologies that have a lot of good and a lot of bad, they always have some weird religious aspect to it. And so he called his Eve,
What?
A lot of those, you see that pop up in so many of these technological advancements. They're named Eve or the apple, obviously, even though it's a fruit in the Bible, I know. But you see it all the time, and he's a Christian, so
The apple, dude.
yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. It's
The
everywhere.
apple of knowledge.
It's everywhere. The fruit of knowledge, and that's what we have, with the phones.
So what would the tree be?
The tree of knowledge, you mean? The tree would be the data centers.
I think that the AI might be the beast.
I think it could be. I think these guys.
Who's the Antichrist? I don't think it's Peter Thiel.
No, I don't think. I think Peter Thiel is a.
Peter
is
wishes he was.
I think,
You know what I mean?
just because he
Knowing
has
him,
a
right?
soft sheen of blood that oozes out of his
Right.
skin doesn't mean he's Antichrist. I think he's a foot soldier for demons, and he creates things that are very anti-human while saying it's going to help humanity, even though they, whatever. I'll have to get deep.
What are the levels of demons, Ian? Do you know? There's like lesser demons.
There are. That's the Solomon, the Book of Solomon. Solomon did a book.
I was talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
I don't know. There's 9 levels of hell. Nine
In D&D?
I don't know.
But that's
I don't know.
I haven't played
There's so many theologies that absorb, Dante's Inferno or Paradise Lost.
There's different kinds of there's like well, like I go to the pagan tradition where demons aren't all evil. Like a house
That's your problem right there, Ian.
Some demons,
It's a pretty big problem.
they're more about entities that behave in certain ways depending on how you treat them. So like if you do it wrong, if like a demon comes to you and you say, "Hey, welcome to my house," that if it's the wrong demon, he might poison your family. Whereas if it's the right demon, he might leave you a bountiful harvest. So you have to know who the demons are and how they
and
work.
also everyone's, it's just not, it's a pet issue of mine is everyone's eschatology is like all off anyway, because again, people will spend all day railing on dispensationalism, which is like, I'm not a dispensationalist at all, so I understand. But then they'll talk about the Antichrist as if it's like one singular, unified, intense, being at the end of time. But actually, if you like read through John and like sort of the conventional covenant theology understanding, is there's lots of Antichrist. Like in John, he talks about Antichrist in his era, which were false teachers. And so there's room for maybe an intensified Antichrist at the end of time. But to truly like take the biblical understanding, at least from my perspective, again, like the covenant theology perspective, is there's lots of Antichrist all the time. Again, false teachers, people that'll derail your life, derail your spiritual life, et cetera, et cetera.
There are various ways to rank demons in Christian demonology as well as related occult studies.
Yeah.
There's 17. They say the Ars Goetia,
That's it.
the lesser key of Solomon.
Yeah.
72 demons. They're ranked by kings, dukes, princes.
Yeah, I think they were
marquises, presidents, earls, and knights.
They may have actually been people. Like this comes
However,
from the biblical fight, the biblical story.
There are 7 greater demons: Lucifer, Mammon, Asmodeus, Leviathan, Beelzebub, Satan, and Belphegor. In some Christian interpretations, demons just mirror fallen angelic orders. So in terms of the strength and weight of the demon, it would be similar to how angels have the chorus or whatever. It's pretty crazy to read about. But I was bringing it up because I was going to say then, like, the Antichrist is presumed to be like one of the greatest, the highest. And when you bring up Peter Thiel, it's like he's not that level. He's more like,
I think whatever is at that level of evil, it has no face or name that we know of. And Peter Thiel just ushers it in. Peter Thiel thinks the Antichrist literally is Greta Thunberg. That's what he says.
That's ridiculous.
It's so silly.
That's partisan if you're a dumb conservative.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, here's like somebody you don't like.
Red meat.
And that was my point is like, again, people, and there's notable people out there that will like rail on dispensationalism, but then they accept the dispensationalist presupposition of the Antichrist. But if you are to accept that sort of presupposition, then you have to believe that this Antichrist is going to be a, all-encompassing world leader, and they're going to like have a 7-year covenant with Israel, and they're going to rebuild the third temple. It's like all this, like, in my opinion, I think it's false. Again, the proper.
So you talk about Tucker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tucker.
You're talking about Tucker.
And I like Tucker. I've historically liked Tucker at least, but he has this, this axe to grind of dispensationalism, which I think is true. I do think that it does impact our foreign policy, but then he presupposes
Netanyahu is the Antichrist.
Exactly. And I'm like, if you look at the original Reformation, they thought that the Antichrist was the Pope or the papacy. So it's like you're just presupposing that line of argument, so he's like taking little bits of it and then incorporating. I'm like, all of our eschatology is all wrong. Everyone, don't talk about the Antichrist unless you are well read on eschatology, on like a proper understanding of postmillennialism, premillennialism.
Off subject, Tucker. It's a weird subject for me. Great. I have to tell you, I got sober. I've been sober 8 years. 8 years.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much. I'm not asking for it. I'm just telling you. And I can tell you, Tucker was one of the most supportive people. Helped me, and it didn't necessarily help him or his career. You could watch it on YouTube. I had a little national episode one day.
It's fun to have those.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. I get them out of my system every 8 years or so.
And I'm not trying to.
But what I mean is that when I saw Tucker going down this route and I was talking to Tim about it, I was telling mutual friends of ours, I just said, this is not going to end well for him because I know him very well. And it was like me making a bad business decision after I got fired by Donald, that I then tried to fight Donald. I worked for Ted Cruz. I did stupid things. And I was just like, he's going down the Sam Nunberg business model. Sub out Donald, put in Israel, and put in Tucker for me. And it's sad to see, and he's so obsessed by it. He
I think that-
can't
like
get
my-
over it.
the
You know?
big-
But
the
he's
big-
such a nice guy. I could tell you personally, like anytime he's promised to do something, anytime I've asked him for something or he's asked me, he's genuinely a sweet guy.
That's what.
But I think when you look at the bigger picture, you know, I'm sure Peter Thiel's done nice things for a lot of people.
Yeah,
as
no,
well.
I know.
Of course.
I understand. No, I
Yeah.
understand
A
that.
lot of
And I still
evil people
think-
are capable of doing good for others.
And I know it's really
Yeah,
it's
no, I
complex.
understand. Yeah,
Tucker's claim that he didn't know what he was doing.
Oh, it's bullshit.
Because Miriam Adelson, like again,
Right.
I bring it every time. Miriam Adelson was funding Donald Trump when Tucker was supporting Donald Trump.
Right.
Tucker knew exactly what he was supporting.
yeah.
Okay, look, I sat with Tucker in 2021 and 2022. I mean, I hate to break his confidence. He sat across from me and said, "How do we stop Donald Trump?" Okay, like now I worked for DeSantis because I couldn't get rehired by Trump. Okay, and I mean DeSantis, he's such a loser. Like he gave an interview. It really pissed me off. He gives an interview the other day and goes, "The president's asking me, why didn't you hit me harder during the election?" Well, it's because I like him. So you're telling me that the $150 million people gave you and the fact that you make a promise and you don't have the huevos to go against Donald? I mean, give me a break.
It's hard to have huevos when you're in heels.
But and then suddenly he gets fired from Fox. I don't think he should have got fired, but suddenly he gets fired from Fox. And he's all about Donald. It was a business decision to me. It was just a business decision. It was
Yeah.
good for clicks.
Yeah.
It was good for clicks.
And that's what's a shame because like
You know.
I love Tucker. Like I've gained so much. I mean, I think during COVID he really was like kind of the fireside chat guy. Like I remembered all the insanity going on in the world, and out of all places, you would tune into Fox News on Tucker's time slot, and it would be like, oh, finally someone else sees what I'm seeing. But this current arc, to Tim's point.
Yeah.
I think it's genuine, but it's just slop. It's just so sloppy. I mean, it's so sloppy, and this is why I'm hitting him on the eschatology. I know that, like, to most people, that goes over their heads. But again, when you're talking about very serious topics like that, you have to be very precise. You have to think it out very well. You can't just start throwing that around because, again, it just completely waters down what you're trying to say. And then when you build up a house that you're taking a little bit from here, a little bit from there, a little bit from there, it's going to collapse in on yourself, and it's just going to make you look bad. You're going to be the bag holder.
He really lost me, and I'm very disappointed in him because look, disclaimer: my grandparents survived Auschwitz. I have family gassed in the chambers. I have family that lives in Israel. They fight in the Israeli army. I don't necessarily agree with everything Israel does, nor do I think America necessarily has to agree with every step that they do. And that's a larger debate. But you can have a problem with Israel. You can say, well, America shouldn't support Israel. Now, first of all, the $3 billion. I hate to break it to everyone. It's not Israel that really wants it anymore. You go tell Boeing and Northrop Grumman that you're not going to give Israel that $3 billion. Go see what happens. But when you start defending Islam, and you start saying that Muslims also believe in Jesus, well, that's news to them. And you start saying like things like, well, I'll be with anybody that prays 5 times a day. Donald Trump's going to be dead. And when he's I mean, give me an effing break. Like it's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's absolutely pathetic. And the worst part is people always say to me, "Oh, he's getting paid." I don't think he's getting paid.
Yeah,
Well, he's rich.
He's very independently wealthy.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting paid for this.
And you know,
I think he's just gone bad. And I'm not badass to the T. I think he's just gone crazy.
Yeah, there's kind of two schools of thought right now. Is one, I mean, I don't want to blow up his spot, but like, you know, there are some incel connections, that sort of thing. So maybe there is a calculation being made among the incel community. That's one thing that would take hours to lay out what is Tucker up to. I think the more likely option is, yeah, he's just having a Orientalist phase like 4 years too late. Because everyone had this sort of phase, you know, a few years ago. We were like, well, maybe we are moving to a multipolar world and we should just kind of play ball with China and Russia and not antagonize Russia, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of people emerged out of that a few years ago where he's going through it right now. So like I still do have a bit of grace, but that kind of rhetoric you're pointing out, I just think is so counterproductive because I've been holding the line the whole time of like, no, I really only want Christians in office or at least people that are culturally Christian. And people are all vacating this line left and right. I mean, they're cutting breaks to so many guys. And I'm just like, was everyone just talking this whole time? Like, I feel like I'm one of the only people this whole, like with the whole Vivek thing. And I'm like getting, you know, rinsed for this take, but I'm like, what happened? I thought we were like the chest beating Christian nationalists and everything, and all of a sudden everyone
a country of data centers and mosques. That's all we're going to have left.
And run by H-1B Indians.
It's unbelievable.
True.
I think
That is
Tucker's
true.
kind of like insulated. I don't know if he has anyone around him that will humiliate him to his face and tell him if they think he's being ridiculous. Like he said, I believe he said that he was literally attacked by a demon that scratched his neck. And like, what the? Oh, okay.
I get that, but
you're a reporter, bro. Like, what the?
And then he said a week later he sleeps in a bed with 5 dogs. I was like, that's where the scratches.
So like to say you're a Christian is one thing, and to put the label on your chest, but like, how do you behave? That defines if you're a Christian.
he has that interview with Mike Huckabee where they're talking about October 7th, and Huckabee says, like, what would you do if your kids had been kidnapped? And he goes, well, I wouldn't kill a child. And I was just like, let's remove the Israel versus Palestine equation, because obviously, first, people are going to be very biased, but I'm going to go ahead and just say outright, like, the things that I would do to protect my daughter and my wife would put me in prison for a long time. Although I think any honorable society would respect the things that I would do to protect my family.
Liam Neeson taken.
I mean, Liam. So I'll just put it this way: I think Law Abiding Citizen was a bad movie. Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
It was bad because Gerard Butler went too quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and and one more point on the Tucker thing, almost to defend him a little bit, because this is the same line
It's a crazy scene.
It's the same line I use with Trump. As you know, people are like surprised that Trump's like a Zionist, or like, why do I feel betrayed? And it's like he's maintained this position for like 50 years now. It's kind of the same thing with Tucker. Is he actually like said something a few years ago and everyone hand waved it away? Was when he said, you know, how could you defend the nuclear bombing of Japan? If you defend that, you're a terrible person. He basically said that verbatim. And when I heard him say that, I was like, that's a weird thing to say. That's like 80% of the country, including basically your entire side. So again, when he got onto this arc, I'm like, he always kind of had that.
I'd nuke Japan now for fun.
Yeah, just have them laying around.
Full disclosure, Tucker was like a neocon war hawk in 2007, wearing a bow tie like a goofball. Jon Stewart humiliated him on camera, and then he did some deep soul searching, maybe took some mushrooms, and came back as like a normal guy. But I like Tucker. I like you. We've hung out. I know you. I mean, I like you. But
well, he told me he doesn't like you.
He's just a guy. You're just a dude, you know, with
He was
opinions.
like, I don't like that Ian guy. I'm just kidding. He said he loves you.
I think he's got a lot to offer. I think you got a lot to offer. Come on the show, man.
Bro, we're not. Where is he at? Well, I'm not going to say his location. Cause
he
I'm
lives out in the woods.
Don't. But
yeah, he's far away.
Yeah, let me give us coordinates on the show.
He's fishing. No, because I don't want to talk about him too much badly, especially when
but that
he's
goes
not
to
here.
a point, though. I mean, I don't want to just see you, Tucker, on Megyn Kelly. I mean, she's doing that for clicks. She's whatever. You know, you run your own. I don't want to cause problems with you with her, but you should go. Going Huckabee, fine. That was a nice step. But go on shows.
Yeah.
Go on other shows where they're going to ask you about this stuff.
And he's out of his isolation.
But he still has so much.
Everybody's lying about everything.
And this is the
Everything's
difference.
faking gay.
And this is the difference between Tucker and everybody else that's kind of lumped into this cohort. Is Tucker? Everyone still likes him. Everyone's more like heartbroken, or just sad.
I am.
But he still has so much good grace that if people come on, they're still going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's the difference between him and like a Candace Owens, where Candace Owens, everyone's just like, screw this lady.
Her lawyers work in a building with federal agents. Her family's heavily invested in Tel Aviv and Israel, and the lead counsel for her defense was an award-winning Zionist.
Yeah,
like it's just not real.
Tucker put his, like, I don't know if you'd say he put his career on the line. He put his
Who represented Trump for years. Who represented Trump? I forgot that
Same
lawyer's
lawyer?
name. Oh yeah, I forgot.
I will add to that, according to reports on the internet.
Exactly right. You don't want to cease and desist from her. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, she claimed my brother tried to kill me. So
I want to say something about the Antichrist.
it's just fake stuff, man.
So, regarding Christ, I think Christ is a verb because it means anointed, which is a past tense verb. So like Jesus, the Christ, Jesus was anointed, so he was Christ. He was anointed. So that means Christ is a verb. It means Antichrist is like a way of being. That's
not what anyone means.
Christ means anointed by God.
Yes, I know, but no one means that when they're talking about the Antichrist.
They act like it's a noun, but it's not. It's a way of describing what God did to
It's
the
a
man.
reference to an individual or individuals.
About what happened to the individual, yes.
But also,
no. So in eschatology, revelation could be either descriptive, predictive, or what's the third one? It's descriptive, predictive, and there's three. Basically, it might be telling us
That's Claude.
well, we had someone here explain this to us. It could be interpreted, so I'm going to say, as telling us what already happened. This story was written specifically about something that had happened with allegory as a warning. It could be a prediction of what will come, or it could be an explanation of what happens when. So those are the interpretations various different groups take.
Yeah, well, because like the dispensationalist view on like everything that's going to happen in Revelation, a lot of that comes from Daniel, but the covenant theology view is that was culminated in Christ's return and then the destruction of the temple in 70 AD or whatever. So
prescriptive.
Yeah, so prescriptive. Yeah.
Sorry.
But this is why, because like, okay, for example, Christ. Yes, the Greek word is anointed one, but it also stems from the Hebrew word, which was Messiah. So that's how you combine those two. He's the anointed Messiah. Therefore, this is singular. Christ isn't a verb; it's a noun describing Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who was born in Bethlehem.
It's like the word building.
So real quick, I think
it's a verb and a noun.
I think the prescriptive meant if this is going to happen. The predictive was, if these things occur, then these things will occur. And the descriptive was, these things had occurred. So there are some people that believe that the book of Revelation is literally describing what had already happened in the past.
Yeah.
That, I don't know the exact, I was watching this documentary and it was awesome. Excuse me. But
It could
again,
be that multiple are true.
to the point of what Antichrist is, everyone discussing it is referring to references in the Bible of a particular individual who will do a thing.
Right.
He'll have a withered arm. He'll have an injured eye. They're not saying your behavior. They're saying, here's a person.
No, not everyone is saying, here's a person. I mean, we were just talking
Most
about that. There may be
groups
many
believe
people that embody it. Tate was
An
just
individual or
saying
individuals. And you're trying to make it sound like Antichrist
way-
refers to a behavior of random people.
that's why, I mean, it's a way that many people can act that will.
I believe that Christ, and any indication, is referring to a singular person, which was Jesus Christ.
You said that the Antichrist may be a surgence of different people throughout time. There have been many Antichrists.
No,
throughout
That's
time.
that's a popular belief. And
But typically it's that various points in the Bible it refers to the false shepherd, and some people think it's all pointing in one direction. Some people think it's referring to a handful of people. Not like anyone can just be one.
That it happened, or that maybe if someone does something, it will cause it to happen, or that it's coming.
No, that's Revelation.
Yeah, but
in terms of the Antichrist, it could be an individual where when they say false shepherd or the beast or whatever, different terms, some people think they're all directions pointed at one individual or entity. Others believe it's referring to like a different people who may have done these things.
those are the two divides. The dispensationalist view is that it's going to be a singular personal Antichrist who's this world leader, et cetera, et cetera. The covenant theology view is off of 1st and 2nd John, where he's talking about, false teachers. There's multiple Antichrists, which does lead credence to, yes, it could be describing something more behavioral than like a singular.
Could you imagine a dozen Peter Thiels all running around?
There are people who say the Antichrist they're talking about Nero.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Why do you think
I think we're talking about something in the future, and just to take it to the UFO stuff, I think a lot of this UFO stuff is part of end times deception.
So the pastors, that story you saw where they said that they were briefed by the government. Do you believe that? Well, we don't exactly know what those meetings are. We're gonna have one of these guys come on, but in the event it did occur,
that's good.
the theory is that the government is trying to get them to basically ditch Christianity. They're saying, oh, it's actually aliens. That way the pastors will go, I guess I can't be Christian anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's how your pastors act, and that's ridiculous. If that's the case, but
they're all calling it out.
I mean, I saw Tony Merkel talking about it. He's been on the show with us before. He's been on my show. He's great. I've done his show. And he says he knows people who were in those meetings. He swears they're not like CIA connected. My interpretation from a distance is that it's some form of Operation Mockingbird, but directed at pastors. Doesn't mean they're actually CIA or affiliated, but that they're being used to help massage this new idea into the Christian zeitgeist that you have to accept this new narrative of UFOs and extraterrestrials.
And you know what the next step after that is?
Right.
After they get all the pastors and they're like, so here's aliens. One of the stories that apparently, actually, let me pull this up. I want to get into this. This is from Newsweek. Eric Burleson accepts apology over pastor's alien inventing Jesus comments. This is wild. So apparently this dude, Larry Ragland, said, very well-known congressman from Missouri, called into a private meeting for pastors, adding, on speakerphone, that sitting powerful member of Congress said, they're preparing to tell us that they're from another dimension, that they are our creator, that these beings, these aliens, whatever you want to call them, they were the ones that seated us here. There is no such thing as God. Jesus was invented by them. The Bible was invented by them.
They did see
Eric Burleson said, I would remind people to listen to what I've already said publicly, which is basically the following. I do not know what the strange objects in the skies are. I certainly do not know their origins. I was asked to call in by phone to a conference meeting of theologians. I could not tell you what was said at the meeting because I was not there and did not hear much of what was said. When I had a chance to speak, I expressed my views. That is that we as Christians tend to get dug into our personal worldviews, even if they have nothing to do with what has actually been written in the Bible. And I think that's actually, he's right, because we always get these images in media of like a red horned demon guy in the fires of hell dancing around the pitchfork, which is not in the Bible. And it's just like a trope that it's like a derivative, a corruption of a derivative of corruption of Dante's Inferno or something, because as you all know, in the low circle of hell, it's ice, not fire. But this is interesting because what this guy Ragland was saying and trying to imply that Burleson was claiming the aliens created Jesus, this is, I'm wondering if Congress is trying to shatter Christianity.
Right.
So you use the UFO disclosure stuff. Yeah. You go to a bunch of pastors and say, I'm a government official with classified information. Here's evidence, aliens, not God, and try and shake their faith so that they eventually, you don't need to get them to convince, you don't need to convince them overnight to say God's not real or whatever, but you shake their confidence What's going to happen when they go before their congregations and they're in doubt?
Well, what's happening here is all these pastors that they've cited are non-denominational pastors. These are pastors with like zero institutional oversight. And so that's why these guys, I think, are being targeted. Because again, and I'll say this, if you have a pastor or a priest giving up for a sermon, homily, etc., and he's speaking on Revelation like decisively, zero doubt, 100% certainty, you should be a little skeptical, because every pastor or priest, again, that I've heard when they that are good when they preach on Revelation is they're sweating the entire time, because again, it's like there's so much there. It takes years. There's guys that study Revelation for a living and there's still question marks. So again, it's a very complex book. And so again, I think that's why these guys specifically are being targeted, because they might have the propensity to deliver the truth to their congregations. Because again, there's zero institutional oversight. There's zero consulting with house intellectuals or other pastors, priests, etc.
Disclosure is aimed at eroding Christianity. All of this is Christians under attack, because Christians are the last ditch effort of like actual dissenting opinion. And they learned that during COVID, when a lot of Christians said no. A lot of them also said yes and didn't have church, but they have to ingratiate themselves into the Christian community and get them on board with this, which I think is fraudulent. You know, and there's different ways we can look at it, and obviously I believe in the spiritual realm, but it's like, why do we have Anna Plana Luna talking about Book of Enoch now? And it seems very like it was written by AI. So,
remember that book that I think they made a movie or a TV show about it, where aliens come to Earth and they don't contact humans for like a few years, but everyone knows they're there. And then a few years later, they come down and they all look like demons.
Yeah.
Well, because
Childhood's End or something like that.
Yeah. And this is the issue with like fitting aliens into Christianity, is because again, if you go through the Bible, if you look at Adam's original sin, the fall, that was a curse on all of creation. So that means that no matter where you are in the universe, you are now a victim of the curse. And we know this because the curse is extended to animals, right? He said, okay, well, snakes, you're losing your arms, and you lost arms and legs privileges, you got to crawl around your belly or whatever. The problem is that when the mediator was sent, right, Christ, he was explicitly sent for mankind, for human beings. So that would mean that, again, human beings now have a mediator between God, which is Christ. They now have a pathway to heaven, but it was specific for humans. That's specific in the scripture. So if there are aliens, these are people that are fallen, that are under, you know, this creation-wide curse, with zero possible mediation between, you know, whatever their species is and God. And the entire Bible is earth-centric. Genesis primarily is talking about humans. It's talking about Earth and that sort of thing. So that's why I would say the popular Christian belief would be that there are no aliens. It would be basically impossible, because again, you would have seen any mention in it whatsoever in Scripture, and that is why it would shake a lot, including my own. I'll say decisively, it would raise some question marks if there truly were extraterrestrials, because there's so many now theological implications involved. If
what about
really
like
true.
references to fallen angels?
Right, so that's where people kind of like lasso, kind of shepherd's hook, and if there is extraterrestrials, is they chalk it up to say, well, these are angels and demons. That is typically the workaround. I'm not saying that disparagingly. I'm saying that is the theological workaround.
And the reason I say that is because I was talking to my father this morning about it, and he's religious, and I was basically saying, yeah, this is just an attack on Christianity. I mean, that the government, they're concerned about how Christians are going to accept this, you know. Also, I don't hear them so concerned about Islam, right? What a coincidence. And my father said, well, you know, how is this inconsistent? There's mentions of weird thing, you know.
Yeah.
It just depends how they're doing, because there's people who are out there claiming they're Christians, and I think their theology is bad, and they're saying that this is outside of aliens. Outside of angels and demons, that there's other.
Yeah, that would just
beings. And I think that is ridiculous.
Are you familiar with Bob Lazar?
Yeah, I don't really take.
He says that they gave him a file.
Yeah, I think
you believe him.
I know his stories stay the same throughout the years. I think a lot of these people are used. They don't know really that they're being used.
And the point is that I think he's used to, and but he says he was put in. So let's just say, for argument's sake, he's not lying, and this actually happened. Now he was being used, but let's just say they gave him a file to explain where these things came from or something like that. And he talks about how they were explaining how. I don't know. I don't listen to it because it means nothing to me really, but that they had given him something along that line to talk about spirits or things like that. So I think that's part of the government's, whatever they're trying to do.
Annie
here.
Jacobson's made claims that I don't even know if I believe it in her claims anymore, but she wrote a book about Area 51, and one of her sources told her that he saw the government taking children that had Down syndrome and turning them into what looked like extraterrestrials during the Cold War to scare the Soviets.
What?
You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. She could just
Like
be
surgically
useful.
altering them?
Yeah.
Altering them?
And this is why
possible.
this is why it's difficult, because like, okay, it's in Psalms they describe humans as vice regents, right? That means that we are sort of the shepherds, not shepherds, but the sort of innkeepers, so to speak, of God's kingdom on earth. And then John Calvin said, you know, this is the theater of God's redemption, right? Earth is the theater of God's redemption. Well, this is what C.S. Lewis constantly got hit on. I love C.S. Lewis to death, but this is bad theology that he always got hit on. Is if you read his space trilogy, the entire predication of these extraterrestrial beings in the space trilogy is that they're unfallen, right? They're just completely outside of this covenant that exists between God and his people. And people always hit him on that. They said, dude, this is just an indication that you like haven't thoroughly read the scripture. I mean, you could chalk it up to it's purely fiction, but again, that was a way that people always hit C.S.
I never
Lewis.
thought that he believed it like that.
Right, exactly.
You know, like,
So you could say, well, he didn't believe it, but that, to be said, that just shows that the popular, overwhelming view among Christians is that aliens are just fundamentally incompatible with the gospel.
It might be that humans are fallen spirits, like fallen in that we're slowed down. We are spirits that have slowed down to manifest in this three-dimensional realm. Because from my experience, the angels and the demons, the spirits, are not God. And if you speak with the humble ones, they'll tell you. They even find it funny that other spirits will lie to you and pretend to be God. And they don't know what God is exactly, but they're adherent to it as well. But like the whole idea of fallen, I think of it less as like coming down from above and coming out from within slowly, like coalescing.
Bro, what if when you take DMT and you break through the veil, it's the afterlife? And the entities you're seeing are actually just people who have, you know.
It felt like heaven. It felt that
Passed
warm
through.
love, just felt. But it's whatever you, because that's why they train, like the Egyptians would train people to go to the afterlife before they die, because if you're afraid when you go into that realm, it will be hell.
Yeah. I do think, I mean, you know, this has no biblical backing whatsoever, so take this with a grain of salt, but I will say, like, I got knocked out really bad. I used to box and I got knocked out really bad, and when I was out, you did feel this like warmth, comfort, like total peace whatsoever. And I think anyone that got knocked out like pretty bad can relate to that. And I do think that might be an indication of sort of the unshackling from the, I mean, obviously this is completely incompatible scripturally, but to a degree, maybe gives you a glimpse into what that sort of feeling will be like, again, once we're sort of liberated from the shackles of the curse that was put upon us by Adam's sin.
Or like when you're asleep, but you're awake, you're trying to get up. You know that it's a weird feeling.
It's so weird when you're knocked out because you're conscious, but then you wake up and then don't remember what it was when you were knocked out. But I do recall, like, you just feel like you can see scenes and you're at peace and unbelievable comfort and that sort of thing. It's a very strange thing. I've never ever taken drugs. I never will. I'm very straight edge in that regard. But I have heard people say something similar, but I've also heard some people say, well, I took drugs like Aaron Rodgers and I saw this like hat man. And I'm like, well, you just saw a demon, probably. Maybe
When you got knocked out, your body flooded DMT like as a defense mechanism.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a chemical explanation.
That might be.
Or DMT is a molecule that acts like an antenna, which broadcasts or receives information when it reconfigures your brain.
Yeah.
Oh,
For the record, anyone watching my show and depending on my political analysis, as far as I understand, I did not sustain any brain injuries from this knockout. But it could. If I ever get
We'll be the judge of that, Tate.
If I get a take horribly wrong, chalk it up to that. I'm John Fetterman. Again,
I just want to say also about the UFO stuff. The messaging is so ridiculous out of the administration, and not just the administration, but like everyone in government. Like the Pentagon just last year was allegedly caught in a lie. There's all these headlines about the Pentagon lying about alien life forms to cover up for like Lockheed Martin technology. So like that's a story floating out there. Right. You know, Elon, who runs he has a big defense contractor, runs all the Starlink satellites. Multiple times has said he's never seen any evidence of extraterrestrial life. You think he would know. This guy who wants to colonize Mars. And meanwhile, Anna Paulina Luna and Burleson and Burchett saying he thinks actually Jesus might have died for aliens. Like that's, I think, ridiculous.
What if he said that?
What if
Yes. What?
So what if this child trafficking is they're kidnapping people to use for experimentation?
Oh, I 100% believe they're doing that.
You know,
we know they're doing that. I mean, because of Zorro Ranch.
So we know that the Japanese unit, I always forget the name.
731.
Yeah, 731. They would they stuck a guy's hand outside to freeze and then pulled it and hit with a hammer. Terrible. They're not going to stop doing this stuff.
And we gave them amnesty.
Right.
To give us all that information.
And actually, a lot of what we know about hypothermia comes from their inhumane. So we're not going to stop doing that. And if we want to do genetic experiments, like I'll put it this way. Does anybody actually think the U.S. is not doing human hybrid genetic experiments?
Of course they are.
They have to be because China is.
Yes.
There's already been disclosed information about China's super soldier program. They're trying to create Captain America, but Captain CCP, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think it's very likely that the U.S. military kidnaps kids because actually we'll bring it to pop culture. You watch The Boys? You seen The Boys?
All the time, yeah. I'll watch
The general idea is the Nazi scientists created a chemical compound that can give a person superpowers, but adults, it'll kill you. If you're an adult and you inject it. And so in the story, they go to parents and say, sign these classified documents. You can never say anything. We'll pay you a ton of money and we're going to inject your baby. That way the baby grows up and develops the powers or whatever. They have to experiment on kids if they're doing genetic mutation stuff. If you're trying to see if you can alter genetics, adults are already grown. They're not going to change all that much. They're actually just dying. So I believe it's very likely that
They never stopped.
Yeah.
You know about like our government and Quaker Oats together were feeding secretly radioactive oatmeal to children.
Oh, I think I heard that.
Like that's insane.
Back in the day.
We've done all these.
Remember in
experiments.
SF when they sprayed the bacteria over
Operation
the city?
Sea Spray.
Yeah.
They've done it in the city. They fill it with the subways with bacteria. I think they're doing it now. I mean, they're spraying glyphosate over all the forests. They're saying.
And Trump's like, glyphosate's so good, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That's Unit 731 of the sky. You know, it's crazy. But I do think that in like Zorro Ranch with Epstein, if we believe the emails that he was writing about Zorro Ranch, like he's funding all these scientists to do like chimeric sort of eugenicist behavior scientists experiments. And there's these emails and like he wants to purchase children. The first day the Epstein files came out, the first thing I covered on my show was the fact that that Turkey was investigating human trafficking of tens of thousands of kids missing to Epstein after the earthquake in the 90s, which then makes people think like Haiti, that those rumors in Haiti.
What if Epstein was actually just giving children for experimentation to various black operations and corporations?
Oh, I think he was, dude. I really think he was. Also, there's an alien connection with Epstein because William Barr's father wrote that crazy space opera about aliens that human traffic children. And he published that the year before he hired Jeffrey Epstein to work at that school in the city. It's a crazy thing.
I'm actually fairly fond of the chicken coop theory.
Yeah.
Fermi's paradox is the simple version. If the universe is so big and life is common, why haven't we encountered it? And one of the hypotheses is that we're effectively a chicken coop. We're penned in. We are laborers, stupid monkeys that, harvest metals and make plastic for the aliens. So imagine, let's say you did copper wire. And, we got to make it, right? Imagine there was an animal that just made copper wire and then left it lying around. We'd love those animals. We'd be like, put them in a pen, get the copper wire, and we'll use it. So we do with chickens. So the theory is that we are penned in by aliens because they can come and discreetly harvest either children for food or whatever, or take raw materials we produce in excess, and they don't got to do the labor themselves.
I agree.
The way a petri dish grows when you splatter it with bacteria or mold, like all these little pockets.
Is that what you do for fun?
What's that?
Is that what you're doing for fun, Ian?
For fun.
No one's surprised by that.
What's happening in the universe is that there's this theory of panspermia, that there was an ejection of like matter and like spores, and then they hit the planets with an ocean tide, with a moon, and they start to grow all over. Like the universe is a petri dish. So each of our cultures, each of our hominid things are expanding in synchronicity with other ones, and we're being controlled or influenced by the aliens. And I think what the aliens are, I'm in here thinking about this, that they figured out the way to project, just like we have internet video and we can project ourselves across the universe, they also can into our thoughts. They figured out how to appear as these like vibrational light beings, but they're actually somewhere doing it, that they're real people.
Yeah. I mean, I just swap out alien for demon in my interpretation of this, and that they are people possessed by evil, Epstein being one of them. Like the Epstein files were so fascinating to me and terrifying because it's actual evidence of organized ancient evil. He even talks about working for the Rothschilds. I don't think that the Rothschilds are even the top of the list, right? I think there's faceless, nameless entities above that control this stuff. The Rothschilds, we know, funded both sides of the Napoleonic Wars, but that conversation is what's spilling out of the Epstein files, whether he's talking to Bannon, whether he's talking about,
he lied. That's what Wexler said.
What, you're talking about the Rothschilds?
Yeah.
In terms of what? Epstein said he was an employee for,
right.
He said he was.
We can't curse here, right? Look, I think just Epstein is just a complete con artist. I'm not sure. I just think that he was a guy who stole money from people.
You don't think he was like a human trafficker and into weird
I don't know.
on
I
humans.
don't know.
Yeah.
That part I don't know. So,
mean,
that part I don't know. But what I also, but for instance, the thing is, I know reporters that he called right before he killed himself, and he said, "Well, I didn't know that these women were underage, the ones he actually got busted."
Yeah, yeah.
And that's BS because he sent Maxwell out to the high
they were
schools.
procuring.
Right,
He
so
went to
he's-
camps in like Minnesota
right.
or something. Yeah.
And I'm not here to defend him, and wouldn't surprise me if he was or he wasn't. But the idea that the thing that I don't understand is when this administration. I mean, the problem was to put Bondi at the head of it, but I mean,
She was
without Trump,
Mm-hmm.
this piece of crap would still be alive, and he wouldn't have been prosecuted.
Yeah.
I mean, so let's
I think
think
he is
about
alive. Honestly,
You do?
I do too.
I think he's in witness
You do?
protection.
I think the probability is that he's more likely to be alive than dead. Like you saw the suicide note recently.
Ridiculous.
Oh, that's weird.
So
Ridiculous.
did you guys? We actually had it pulled up. We were going to get into it on the show, and we never actually did. I'm going to pull this up. What was that guy's name that was in his cell?
Nicholas Tartaglione. I've been on the show talking about him. I was covering that story for 10 years before he was even Jeffrey Epstein's son.
Let me just read this.
It
so
looks
you
like
can
Drake's album cover. If you're reading this, it's too late.
right.
Look it up.
So check it out. On July 23rd, a guard responded to a body alarm in the housing unit and found a semi-conscious Epstein on the floor. According to Tartaglione, who was interviewed, he said he was sleeping on the floor when something touched his foot. After removing his headphones and taking off a sheet covering his bed, he found Epstein sitting on the floor of the cell with his eyes open. Tartaglione called his name several times without response, causing him to bang on the cell door to the guards. An unnamed guard removed Epstein from the cell, reported that Epstein accused Tartaglione of trying to kill him. Tartaglione is the one who said he found the suicide note in a graphic novel. Mm-hmm. My opinion of what actually happened, he tried to kill Epstein.
Yes.
It was supposed to be a suicide.
Mm-hmm.
He does whatever he's supposed to do, then says to Epstein, Jeffrey, he doesn't respond, thinks he's dead. Okay. Bang, bang, bang. He killed himself. Epstein comes to. Crap. That's what it sounds like. Now, I don't know for sure. I don't accuse anybody of any wrongdoing. I don't know.
Right.
Dude, did you read the part where Tartaglione had a cell phone randomly in the cell the day before the beating happened, alleged beating? Also, Tartaglione's story, if he is in jail because he murdered 4 men in a drug deal gone bad. He's a former cop who was dealing coke and a bodybuilder, and those men went missing where I used to, like near where I worked.
Yeah.
That's why I knew this story. His history as a cop is also extremely violent. He beat up reporters for like talking about corruption amongst them, and he got a huge payout. They say he's like mob connected. I think he was put in that cell.
Let's add in the disclosures. They said that the prison created a fake body stuffed into a body bag to trick reporters, which makes no sense.
If they did that.
If they did that,
They did do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's photos of it.
Yeah.
They said they took towels and boxes and
Boxes
stuffed it in a
and
body
towels,
bag,
yeah.
so it looked like a body was coming out when it wasn't. Yep. Then you've got, before the news broke of Epstein's death, a guard saying someone posted on 4chan, they're swapping him out. The FBI investigated, and the investigation led to one of the guards. So it sounds like a guard went to 4chan and said they're swapping out Epstein. Then officials at the prison stuffed the body bag with garbage to make it look like a body, and then left. And then people have long pointed out the body that went into the hospital did not look like Epstein. And here's the crazy thing. Why stuff a fake body into a body bag if the reporters are already at the hospital taking pictures of the body going in? None of that adds
Well,
up.
the video being off, that was
they're
what a
asleep.
coincidence.
They're
I mean,
asleep.
come on.
No, none of it makes
So
any
I'm not
sense.
saying I know. I'm not saying I know. But I think the probability he's still alive is actually pretty good.
My lawyer represented me for the Mueller and the other investigations. He was in the jail that week, and I was talking to him, and he said to me, "I saw Epstein, man." This is what he said to me. He said, "I saw Epstein. He's going to kill himself." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've been around these jails for a long time." He had that look in his eyes. That was just my lawyer.
That suicide note was found by
That note,
Tartaglione.
but
The suicide note was like,
What
I'm a
that
Democrat
said-
hoax if you find this.
But with that said, you read his emails. The guy's like dyslexic. When you read
Well, a lot of those emails were translated through a machine that added a lot of weird symbols.
Really?
which inadvertently put me in the Epstein emails, and did.
He did?
Yeah, an accident, because it said it said time pool in a sentence, and the machine removed the E, and so now it says Tim Pool.
Sue. But what I'm saying though with the Rothschilds thing is like
Yeah.
the Rothschilds we know about a lot of manufacturing of wars, and a lot of conversations in the Epstein files were about how they manufacture wars, extract wealth from dying nations that they're emailing each other about. Whether it was the guy from Barclays, whether it was Bannon, or one of the thousands of emails between him and Peter Thiel, and treating us, talking about the chicken theory, treating us like just create a war, they'll be distracted.
Are there a lot of emails between Teal?
Thousands.
Oh, there are.
They were
Because
super
he was
close.
on Rogan's show. Did you ever see that?
I watch everything Thiel does.
And they were trying to get Epstein on Rogan, or what was it? Or was it?
No. He tried to get out ahead of it. So he said,
Right.
I only met with Epstein once. I shouldn't have met with him.
Yeah.
It's about
Lutnick
taxes.
lied, Elon lied. Like it's
about
all on all
taxes.
sides. You know, I think Epstein.
You know what I think? I think people. There's a kind of person who wants power, and they don't care where they get it from.
Of course.
They don't care what Epstein's accused of.
Yeah.
Their attitude. Look at the Animal Farm thing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people. So Angel Farm.
Yeah,
Animal
I've
Farm?
heard it.
Yeah, a lot of these people just took the money. They didn't care. They didn't care if it was bad for the book, if it was bad for the tradition, or if it was bad for capitalism, whatever. Pay me. I think there's a lot of people who are just like, someone says Epstein wants to meet with you, and you're like, I don't care. He's got money.
right.
You know?
People put out statements literally saying that. Like, we just needed money for whatever startup we had.
This is how deals are done. This is what
yeah.
I'm told by people.
Pedophile offered you money, and you said, "Sounds good to me."
But all the people hang out with him post conviction. I would say that's a huge issue, and that's all these
it
people.
is.
That's all these people.
It is.
We're going to grab some questions from the Discord. So if you guys want to start getting those questions in while we're complaining about the elite Epstein class and all that stuff, so get your questions in now, and then we'll jump to you in a second.
Former, United States, the guy from the Clinton administration who was the president of Harvard, Larry Summers.
Oh, yeah.
He's asking for love advice.
Money.
from
He got
Epstein.
money, love advice, poetry, book funding. Gave him an office. He had an office at the college.
Oh, nice.
was
So that's
he
why
was
I've seen
involved
that, all
in
those
everything.
Harvard. It's people.
What's the worst Epstein conspiracy? That he's blackmailing world leaders, raping and kidnapping children, or that he's serving Moloch?
I think
Maybe all of it.
I think it's all connected. Yeah, I think
It's all one
connected.
theory.
I think all the governments went to him for help. He was kind of a middleman for
the fixer.
everyone. Just like Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was for whether you say Israel, America, or Eastern European.
All of them.
They all went to him, and he tried getting money from them in the end.
I had to look into this because Virginia Guthrie, she worked at Mar-a-Lago. So remember, I'm working for Mr. Trump.
Right.
And this is all over the news, and it's all in 2014. Plus, we wanted to use it against Bill Clinton.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And so first of all, I spoke to him. I've been on the record about this, and he said I kicked his ass out. And
Right.
he did. I kicked his ass out. It's all documented.
Yep.
And he was completely transparent with me about it. I mean, there were other things, and that, for instance, I would never ask him about his finances, and if I did, I would probably be, it wouldn't be a good, smart idea when I worked for him. But this was like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is nothing. That guy's a lowlife, and I believe him. And the point of the matter is that though I couldn't believe the more I looked into Epstein, the fact that Bill Clinton. Was just going on his plane and this, and then the pictures that came out, and we had heard from the National Enquirer that these pictures, that there are even worse pictures out there.
Oh yeah.
Than were even released.
3 million more files allegedly they haven't even released.
And the idea that Bill Clinton only got he was only in the jacuzzi with the women. I mean, give me a break.
I listened to their testimonies. It was him and Hillary. It was ridiculous.
It's just.
I think he was a fixer. Powerful people around the world wanted whatever they wanted, and it was illegal and hard to get. That's why that email about him getting antibiotics for Bill Gates over those Russian hookers.
Yeah.
This is a thing. It's like, you're Bill Gates. You get an STD from hookers. Your wife, you accidentally give it to your wife. You go to Epstein and say, "Get me the illicit drugs. No one can find out."
Yeah, and he was like, he got people connected too, like Ehud Barak from Israel leaving his post, needing a job at Palantir. So that's like, and there's an audio recording of that. You can set him up,
I think Epstein was probably a low level guy in this whatever is going on.
Oh, so the
Ghislaine
point is,
Maxwell
I
was
forgot.
the
I had a
ringleader.
break. So I had heard that he got the sweetheart deal because he had done work for the United States Treasury throughout the years, trading against other currencies. That was the reason why he was considered a government asset. And I heard that from a reliable source.
I just
now,
mean,
I don't. I'm just telling you.
Right.
I'm
You're talking about when he was in Florida.
I want to make this point. He's not the boss.
Oh yeah, I don't think so either.
He was the mid-level manager.
Yeah.
And so the powerful people, some of these billionaire guys we know who gave him properties, He's the manager who runs it.
Like, we just forgot that Les Wexner was told, like, by his lawyer, whispering in his ear, if you say one thing, I'll kill you. Like,
And
that's insane.
And he just lets him steal $1 billion
Wait, he's-
from him.
what do you say?
$1 billion.
If you what do you say if you answer anything longer than 5 seconds again or something like that?
He threatened him.
Yeah, and then everyone laughs, and it's like,
Yeah.
We're gonna grab your guys' questions. Let's get to the Discord over here. Let's see what we got going on. All right, Kevin Adele says, "Do you think Tucker will endorse Newsom or AOC for president because of the Iran war?" I do, and then he'll become the most popular progressive in America. I think I'm starting to agree with a little bit that a lot of things he's going to run. But it's because he made a comment on his show about maybe running. And if you look at what he's doing, he's positioning himself for the right populist position.
I'm not sure that's the position though. Even he had me plant articles for him when he was at Fox about should he run in 2024 after this during the 2020 election. And he asked me, "Do you think I'd be a good candidate?" I said, "I think you'd be terrible. I think you'd just be a terrible candidate." He may want to run. My understanding is that his wife wants him to run too. But I think it would be. I wouldn't be worried about it. For instance, like
I like Tucker. I'm not voting. I'm not voting for him.
I support JD Vance.
Yeah.
And
I don't.
I just think
I don't vote for him. I would never vote for him either.
Okay.
He was created in a Palantir lab.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair. They're called genetic alteration facilities, not labs.
JD Vance is a chimera.
think so.
Yeah, I don't trust him. He seems like a used car salesman to me. He says things that he thinks people just want to hear. And there's nothing authentic about him to me at all. I've never been a fan. Same way I feel about Vivek.
I just see the way he's been operating in the White House, and as somebody who is more of a war hawk myself, I like the fact that he's prudent. I think that he's been effective. Much more when I compare it to Mike Pence previously. These are issues for me on governance, let's say, and getting the agenda through to the best of the abilities of the Senate. With that said, I also have a lot of respect for, although I don't know how much respect I should have because he was against Tim Walz, but the fact of the matter is his performance in that debate when he was just going right back with kindness at those.
He's great at talking.
I think
that's what I call him. I call him Hillbilly Obama.
Okay.
Because he's just like Obama. Like, just something about him seems fraudulent.
Let's grab some more. We got Warrior 4588 says, thoughts on Ukraine ceasefire?
Ceasefires don't mean anything these days. I don't know. We'll see.
2 more weeks and it'll be over.
I would love to see all
Toronto
the war
blow
stop.
something up and they'll be like, it was your fault. No, it was your fault.
I think it shows Russia the fact that they actually asked for this so they could celebrate something. I mean, they really are pretty,
Mother's Day's around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
We need a day off.
So I
The
think
Russians want to start moving their weapons into Iran.
I don't know how Putin's going to get out
maybe.
of this one.
I mean, that would be pretty
just want it
funny
to
if,
end
like,
this
Russia announced a ceasefire, then starts moving troops and weapons to the border and
Well,
Iran said their missile stockpiles are 120%. Who knows if it's true, but
James Not a Fed Veritas says, now that the UFO files are out, what's going to happen this weekend that the UFO files will distract us from? Iran war going to ramp up this weekend? Might be something related to Hunter Biden again. Every time he'd be in the news, it'd be like, aliens are real. Although now he doesn't really matter. He was in the news recently. I think, what did they announce? They're not charging him or something?
Oh, that's nice.
With something related. It's nice.
he's millions of dollars of debt, and he's living in Europe.
Seriously. He's an artist.
No, they release these things on a Friday. It's usually because they don't want to have a big impact throughout the week. And it's a general distraction. It keeps the more conspiracy-minded people wrapped up with something.
But they're also saying this is like the first phase. Like they kind of did the same thing with the Epstein files, but they're saying like there's going to be more and it's going to be life-changing, and they're like, you're going to make the world on fire. That's what Burchett was saying.
All right, we got Dirtboard OG says, with the AI revolution coming, World War 33, can't read it, 11, World War 3 on the horizon, the fake economy about to fall and aliens possibly taking over the world, when will we get a Boonies beanie? When there are companies that make good ones.
Boonies beanie before GTA 6.
I mean, actually, we could easily get a Boonies beanie, and just someone's got to make it. Just, okay, guys, there, it's been said. Now someone will figure it out.
I got to tell you, though, I don't like paying $4.30 a gallon when we're not bombing Iran.
I just got to say, the new Boonies boards that are coming. So right now, there's a bunch of Boonies boards. It's the full throttle. It's their cars and various vehicles. And but the next series of boards that are coming out for America, it's the America 250 edition. These are some of the best boards. So one of them is Ian being massacred by the Timcast crew.
It is good.
Goodness.
He's
It
a
looks great.
he's a red coat, and we're all standing there, and I'm shooting him with a flintlock, and he's like,
I want it on a mug, so depending on what side you hold, it's either Tim holding the flintlock
There's
or me taking it.
There's one with a ripped chicken riding a horse carrying an American flag.
Of course.
American
Patriot.
Patriot, yeah.
Nice.
And so when I saw how good these were, I was like, we got to do 100 of those. We can't do 50 because that's going to sell out instantly. It's
hilarious.
It's awesome. It's a black and gold American flag with a chicken riding a horse, but the chicken's just massively ripped. And then I think the one of Ian getting just massacred by the entire Timcast crew shooting him is going to do really well.
Your arm and flintlock are
Yeah, I'm
parallel
like-
to the ground. It looks so good.
Yeah. And then everyone else is aiming the muskets at you, and you're like, there's no gore, there's no blood, there's no smoke. It's just meant to be artistic with Ian, like, falling off a bridge.
Holding a saber, I think. Is that what?
Yeah,
the
you have a
sword
saber.
is?
It's so good. Anyway, okay. We got Taylor Lorenz's, what does it say now? Hanta Sleepover says, Tim, I wanted to call in and ask this yesterday, but I just called in the other night, so obviously I couldn't. This one's for Shane and Tate, as are the devout Christians. How do you, gentlemen, square the impending pole shift theory with God's promise not to flood the earth again?
I don't believe in the pole shift theory.
You don't think it's going to flood?
Why
I
not?
think that's just an op. I think we're just being flooded with ops right now to get people so confused and distracted and fighting over everything. Because like I said, I don't believe in even those years existing that he says. You know, the people who believe in the pole shift.
I don't have an opinion on
What
it.
year?
Just wondering why you don't.
Like, you know, they're going back like tens
Every
of thousands
6,000
of years. You know,
years.
so like I don't even believe in that. The whole
What-
premise,
what-
I don't believe
do
in.
you- do you believe
that it was older than 6,000 years?
Yeah, I used to never even think about it. Honestly, it's just like it's old.
Do you believe that theory that the Dark Ages never happened?
Well, that's an interesting theory. I don't know what I believe. I think that we don't give enough credit. I think modern people, experts, whatever, people writing books about the Dark Ages, they are condescending to a lot of them. I think they were brilliant people there too, and we kind of make them out to be like cavemen, and like we're brilliant, but we're just as barbaric today as humans have always been. But writing went away for a lot of different periods in time after Rome fell.
Yeah.
And different places they took over had no writing, so like history just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Isn't it wild that when Rome fell, it was the apocalypse?
It was basically
Civilization collapsed. People went from having indoor plumbing to chucking crap out the window.
Yeah, but like even like Carthage or Gaul, they had no written history. So a lot of the history we get from those places is written by the Romans. You know, there's people with Roman, who are Rome experts who say maybe Hannibal didn't even have elephants, and the Romans just used that to make their enemies look sick. You know, so yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in the pole shift though.
All right. Sir Jekhov says, fact check, not question. Tim said twice last week, Texas and California share the same Colorado River. There are two different Colorado rivers, Timcast. You've offended this Texan saying I'm drinking the same gay water.
That's awesome.
Indeed.
How dare you?
Yeah. You owe me an apology.
The same gay water. All right. Sir Jack says, if aliens did visit us, they would need warp travel to get here. Given relativity and mass distances in space, doesn't that mean they'd have discovered practical time travel, wormholes, space-time manipulation? It makes me think of Prometheus and the engineers advanced aliens who came to Earth long ago and engineered humanity. Could we be seeing something similar, ancient visits and genetic influence? I'm going to pause you right there, buddy. The insinuation, let's reframe this. Imagine there was a dog in the woods in the middle of nowhere, and he's trying to explain to other dogs it's not possible for humans to get to them because they would need to have legs that were 10 feet tall so they could run really fast to get here in time. Now, we understand that cars exist and planes exist, and so that's a silly thing to argue. When we think about space travel, relativity, and all that stuff, imagine you are just real dumb and the aliens have just discovered something we don't comprehend. For all we know, they travel on the Flubo network. It's an interdimensional string of vibrating,
Tubes.
Yeah.
A series of tubes.
A series of tubes.
the
And
internet.
we're sitting here being like, in order to get here, they would need to bend space-time. And they're sitting there going like, bend space-time? We just florbed here.
It's very much
They're
like,
like, what does that mean? But like, well, it's when you glux the flobinator and then you collab.
If
No,
you,
no.
put
And
a
you're
pro-
like, I have no idea what that means.
If you have a projector on the wall and you're watching this show right now and you see me on your wall, that'd be like someone walking in and be like, how did he get over here so fast?
That's true too.
There's a lot of theories amongst the people who believe they were abducted by aliens that they believe a lot of like the Greys are actually like avatars for people. Yeah, they send them here, so they're not really here, but something is operating on their behalf.
Bro, future people theory is starting to pick up steam too.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Future people theory is that at some point in the future, we develop time travel and we go back in time to interfere with history to guarantee outcomes. And I think that actually makes a lot of sense.
That's those people voting on the market. You
Right.
Understand?
Right.
They're time travelers.
Well, but in all seriousness, you wouldn't need to make money off the market. If you could, if in the future we develop time travel, we could literally just be like, okay, what should our civilization have right now? Everyone would vote. We should have, more cherry trees. Okay, they go back in time, make something happen, and then instantly in the future, everyone's like, wow, we have cherry trees.
This correlates with the story out of Popular Mechanics yesterday on Twitter that time can move in two directions or can exist in two states at once.
Well, we've known this. The theory is that when the Big Bang happened, time, I should say hypothesis, so the Big Bang happens. From our perspective, we see in 3 dimensions the universe expanding. The theory, however, is that there is an equal and opposite time expansion, but we're moving further and further away from it. So
yeah, gravity's affecting it. So the further away you are, the more differential.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when the Big Bang happened, imagine if time were a linear spatial dimension. The Big Bang happening means, imagine a flat plane with a shockwave going off of it. Mm-hmm. Then if you flip it over, you have the upside down as another shockwave going off of it. You're riding the shockwave up. The other shockwave is going in the other direction. As a spatial dimension, it's easy to comprehend. Now imagine time that way. The further we travel through time every day, the further away from the Big Bang we get. On the inverse is anti-time that flows the other direction, and there are beings that live there, and they live their lives identically to us because it's 1 and -1, so they experience the same thing. But to us, if you were to take their anti-time and overlay it over ours, it would be like the movie Tenet, where the person's walking backwards.
He's the
and
one
you'd be
guy
like,
who
whoa.
understands Tenet. You're the one guy.
The one guy.
I've watched it 4 times. I still can't get it.
Yeah, it's like the stack in Magic. When you do something, your anti-part did it. That's how time.
And it's actually interesting how magic works. Yeah, magic works on the concept of time and anti-time overlapping. So in the card game Magic the Gathering, the function of the game strategically is like you are a planeswalker and you are using magic and pulling energy from the ether to fight with another wizard or wizards, planeswalkers. And so you can pull energy from various land to manipulate. So this is somewhat immaterial, but in Magic, when you summon a creature, you're pulling energy from the land and then creating a version of that creature from the ether. And so the way the game works is, if I, as a player, functionally a wizard, say, I am going to strike Ian with a lightning bolt, I then tap my land for energy, and then I declare my spell as being cast. Mm-hmm. However, the stack in the game, Ian can respond before that happens and have already done something.
So after he does it, I respond with what happens before, essentially.
Yeah.
Logic.
So it's a stack. So I say lightning bolt. He says, I'll make up a spell, healing. I'll use a real one. Healing salve. Then I say lightning bolt, healing salve, lightning bolt. So I take an action. Then he takes an action that happens before mine. I can take an action that happened before his. So unrelated to anything we're really talking about, but fun anyway.
Similar, though. It's similar to the way time works, I think. I mean, time's not a real thing. I was thinking on the drive over here. It's just motion. I mean, it's all relative motion.
There is a hypothesis of anti-time.
That's what you were thinking about on the way here?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So the idea would be this.
Yeah.
The idea is kind of like this. If you could freely manipulate and move through time like a spatial dimension, and you walked to the Big Bang, you'd go through a hole and come on the other side, continually walking, and there's two timelines going like this. Mm-hmm. So this is our timeline going forward, but when the Big Bang happened, another timeline went the other direction.
Do you think we live in alternate timelines? Like I kind of figure sometimes, or I think, what's the other timeline of me where I didn't screw X up, and what's that person doing now? That alternate.
Probably multiverse. If the multiverse is true, then imagination is just visions of alternate realities. We are out of time, though, so it's been great hanging out with you guys.
Or are we
Thanks,
just out of
callers.
motion? That's the question.
We're out of time. I'm looking at the clock. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. It's been great. Sir, do you want to shout anything out?
Thanks for having me. Follow me at Numberg Sam, and this is really off my bucket list. Tim, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Awesome. It was a pleasure to be back. You can follow me online at Shane Cashman. Real quick, wanted to say that it is amazing that the story of portals to Waffle House has now made its way up to Trump, who says, I don't know anything about teleportation. But you can catch the show I host every Monday through Thursday, Inverted World, 10 o'clock, YouTube and Rumble.
Okay, I got to mention this. There was a post on Reddit that predates the Waffle House portal thing.
Oh, wow.
And the post was a hypothetical superpower where you could teleport, but only to Waffle Houses. And so when I was researching the story, I found a post from like 2 years ago, and it was like, you have the, it was some kind of subreddit where it's like a hypothetical where you have the ability to teleport, but only to Waffle Houses. Like, would you use? And I thought it was weird. Anyway, Ian.
Ian Crossland. Follow me on the internet at Ian Crossland. You'll be glad that you did. See you later. Carter Banks.
Yes, I'm Carter Banks. You can follow me at Carter Banks, and also Tate.
I'm the real
Take an
Tate Brown.
important
Call me
call.
at the real Tate Brown. Holding it down. I got my Alps.
You beat me to it.
Just gonna make sure you follow Real Tate Brown all across everywhere. Real Tate Brown.
Follow Real Tate Brown.
Where'd he go?
What else does Tate do?
He had to take an important.
You know, he had
phone call.
important affairs.
He took a portal to Waffle House.
He's gonna call and be like, I don't know how, but I'm at Waffle House. I was just on the show. All right, everybody. That's everyone, right? Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun. We're back, of course, with clips throughout the weekend, and we'll see y'all then.